Good afternoon, FPL managers. We are live on YouTube. This is Fantasy Football Scoutcast Match Day. I am joined by Seb. How you doing, Seb?
All right, mate. I'm okay, thank you. Big rivalry today as a Leeds fan. I'll try my best not to swear, but I might have to say Man United once or twice.
Good stuff. And Tobes, how you doing?
Yeah, good, thank you. Been a roller coaster of a game week, as I'm sure it has been for everyone. Captain Salah, then Spurs have just got smashed. So yeah, I'm back down to earth with a bump.
Yeah, and we've got a great game. Seb and I discussed what game to do for this game week a while back, and United Leeds, just on paper, the way both teams are playing, we are set for. I really hope so. I don't want to jinx it, but goals galore. Let's go for predictions now. I think it's going to be 4-3 Leeds. I'm going bold, and I think Bamford hat trick.
Three.
Yeah, I'm going big. Do you know what? I know Bruno's a really popular captaincy pick, and rightly so. But I genuinely think Bamford. I'm surprised not more people went for a Bamford punt. If he was priced at 10 million, loads of people would be captaining Bamford this game week. Yeah,
That's a shout. That's a shout.
United are one of the worst defences in the league. Yeah, they're rubbish at home. This is tailor-made for Bamford, I think.
It's good to see you've started on the fence today, Gianni.
Yeah, exactly right. Seb, what are your predictions as a Leeds fan?
7, 8, 9-0 Leeds.
Love it. Love it. Tobes, give us something a bit more realistic.
I reckon we're going to see a draw. I reckon a high-ish scoring draw, maybe a 2-2, 3-3, something like that. Yeah, I think high scoring draw.
Nice. Good stuff. We've got you guys in the chat already asking questions and stuff, so please do. Defer thinks Bruno's got to score 9 or more to make it worth him. Captain him over Salah. Yeah, look, Defa, many FPL managers did that. I think the most popular pick was Salah, just by about 100,000. I think it was about 1.3 million and Bruno was 1.2. But in terms of active FPL managers, I think Bruno was probably the most popular pick. So you're in the same boat as many. Having a shocking week, says Kev. How you doing, Kev? You need Bruno and Bamford to go mad here. Look, Kev, have you got Salah? I'm guessing you have. I captain Kane, so I'm really disheartened. And I've sold Sterling for Bruno in recent weeks and he just keeps getting returns. Anyway, the game's kicked off. What minutes are you guys in? Have you had your game kick off? I've probably about 10 seconds in. What are you on, Tobes?
I have kicked off, but it's so early in the game that they haven't yet put the little thing up with the time for it. There we go. I'm 20 seconds in.
Oh, I've not got the timer, so I reckon you're probably ahead of me, Seb. What are you on?
Got 27, 28, 29.
Yeah, I'm
I
bang
suspect.
on the same.
Oh, is that Rashford in the area already? I suspect the chat might be ahead of us here, though, because we've got Sky Sports today, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, true. Okay, I've just seen Ayling go down for a free kick. I'm on 41, 42, 43.
Yeah, I'm on the same as you.
Oh,
Jan.
Get on. Lovely
Perfect.
that. Okay, I'm going to come to... In fact, I'm not looking at the chat. I've seen one thing and I'm going to take my eyes off the chat because I know many of you don't like it when we do, but I think there has been activity and I think United on the attack. I can see Bruno with the ball outside the box.
No.
Bruno puts the ball through, lays it on a plate to McTominay, who smashes it, bottom corner. It's 1-0 United after a minute.
To be fair, I think laying it on a plate was a little bit unkind to McTominay. That's a pretty good strike. Hitting that first time coming across your body. It wasn't an easy strike. It's a hell of a finish. Yeah, Bruno assist points.
As if we've conceded to Scott McTominay.
Of all the players on that pitch, yeah.
Oh, so
Leeds giving it away, isn't it?
Bruno's got so much space. He's like, Bruno thinks about the shot, and Bruno's so greedy. I'm surprised he didn't have a go himself, but he rightly squares it to McTominay, who's got even more space, just cutting through Leeds' midfield there. And McTominay, so yeah, it is a really good finish, isn't it?
That's a very good finish. Yeah, we've just given it away in an area where we can't recover in time, haven't we? And nothing Meslier can do about that. That is a lovely strike.
It's rare you see Meslier not dive because he is all out. He's a great shot stopper, but yeah, he looks at that and goes out of touch there. Can't get anywhere near that. Kev's did sell Salah. Kev, sorry mate, you're going to be bringing him back. I know you will be. Alexander's captain Bruno. There's loads of Bruno captains in the chat. Tom celebrating the goal.
Just sorry that I don't know if you saw the shot of Bielsa just sat there with like a Costa coffee blowing like the froth off it, just looking like shell shocked. Poor guy.
Guys, United are all over Leeds. I haven't seen Leeds get out the half yet. And And yeah, it's just big activity already. I did see something else flash up on the chat, and I think United have got another good chance. I'm taking my eyes off the chat. But...
You're not going to believe this. Wait for it.
Okay, Rashford, Martial through to
McTominay. McTominay again, isn't it? 2-2.
Martial assist.
Turns out Scott McTominay was the captain shout then.
Wow.
He's had a haircut. 2 goals in 2 minutes.
Unbelievable.
What is going on?
That's outrageous. I don't really know what to say.
My 2-2's not looking too good.
Yeah,
maybe it is.
Yeah, we said there'd be goals. I mean, it's a great ball from Martial there, and a really composed finish. McTominay is playing really advanced. Like, we don't often see him. We don't see Scott McTominay running into the box much. We've seen it, seen 2 really attacking runs so far.
I guess we've just not had a chance to really pin him back yet. He's playing alongside Fred, is it? So maybe slightly more box to box of the two if they wanted.
Really
maybe expect Fred to do that.
Really good first touch from McTominay, to be fair, to take that, and he was like running at some speed. Little like step over touch with his right, shoot with the left. It's a really nice finish. You've got to say, for a bloke you wouldn't expect to have that in his locker.
He looks about 7 years old with that new Barnet cut, doesn't he, Cobes?
He does, yeah. It's clearly done the job though. Streamlined him. Maybe he wouldn't have got there with that extra kind of drag if he hadn't had the haircut.
I remember haircuts.
Well,
we've just gone down the other end and gone close.
Yeah, Shaw. I don't think Shaw saw Rafinha coming in behind him there. Got a bit lucky.
I mean, a 2-0 lead is hard to come back from, but we're certainly going to see goals here. There was
Harrison
as good of a chance as they've had.
Harrison's starting to show a bit of form, Seb.
Yeah, he'd gone off the ball a little bit in the last few matches. Started the season very, very well. We'll see what happens this match. He looked good last match, but then maybe if he doesn't score that goal at the end, which was an absolute banger, maybe you feel less so. So we'll see. We'll see. He's not been as good as he would at the start of the season. A few Leeds fans have maybe wanted him replaced. I'm happy to give him time. He's done well for us over a period of time.
I cannot believe we've seen 2 goals in the first 4 minutes of this football match. That is crazy. And Bruno captainers, of which there are over 1 million in the game that has 7 million managers. Already you're watching the game going, I've got a return. Anything now is a bonus. Win-win. I'd love to be in that position. Did you consider Bruno, Toby?
As a captain choice?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did. I'd be lying if I said I didn't. And to be brutally honest with you, I think if I'd have had the early team news that said Salah was going to be on the bench, I would probably have switched to probably Bruno. I didn't see that team news. So I had the button on Salah, and obviously we all know what happened. So yeah, you could call that luck, but then you could call it...
Oh, I will. Don't worry. I'm coming to that.
You could call it luck, unlucky that I captained a player that only played 30 minutes. That's a bit unlucky, but then going on and getting 3 returns is possibly lucky in that situation. But yeah, it's one of those, isn't it, where actually being on the money on Twitter on the team news has actually probably cost a lot of people that those captain points who probably did see Salah benched and probably made the correct call to take the captaincy off him.
Yeah, I saw the team news. I texted Toby, WhatsApped him, saw the 1 tick. So I was thinking, okay, he's not read it. And I said to him, look, Tobes, if you're going to take the captaincy off Salah and give it to Bruno, you have to tell me before 11 a.m. Why? Well, I'm not watching United Leeds on Scoutcast Matchday with you, knowing you've captained Bruno and I haven't. And I was so in 2 minds between Kane and Bruno anyway, that I was just like, okay, should I switch to Bruno? It's 5 to 11 at this point, and I've seen Toby still isn't answering the phone, still hasn't replied to my WhatsApp. So I pull over. I'm driving at this point. I'm just outside a service station. I pull over with my wife, and I'm like, right, I'm going to switch it to Bruno. And then I sat there, and she goes, Jan, don't do this. Like, you can't do this. You never switch your captaincy. So I kept it on Harry Kane for the blank.
I was obscenely hungover on Saturday morning, which is why I was pretty much out of action on WhatsApp till later than I normally otherwise would have been. So, you could argue that my decision to go out and get very drunk the night before has actually, helped me out this week, which is nice.
So far, all Fernandes has done is match KDB. It's fine.
Yeah, good going, Seb.
No more returns for Fernandes. It's all good. I own Fernandes as well. It's fine.
I tell you what we might see against Sheffield United with 3-1 up, and it got to set Bamford's in here. Bamford, that's a poor finish.
Which we
know we're going to get, right? We need to see 5 Bamford chances to get a goal, but there's one. Seb?
I think there's going to be more here, though, right? I mean, we've conceded 2 very easy goals, and probably maybe the goals you'd expect us to concede, if not from the player you'd expect. We've got a left winger at left back, a right back at centre back, a winger / midfielder at right back, and Liam Cooper. It's not the best defence in the league, even with everyone fit, and we have one of our first choice back four fit in the right position. So with Man United, with their runners, with the through balls we can see from Fernandes, I was probably expecting a few goals like that. Maybe not so quickly, maybe not from McTominay. But then at the other end, I mean, we've had not as good chances by any means, but Bamford's had a shot from close in. There was one a moment ago where we wriggle into the area with Harrison. Could easily be 2-2.
Did you see the graphic that just popped up as well? I think seven goals in his last 8 away games, Bamford in the Premier League, which is bodes well if you're an owner.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty useful away from home, which we know. So back to the captaincy, Seb, you went KDB.
I did.
How are we feeling about KDB long term?
Oh, fine. Long term, fine.
Agreed.
At the moment, not ideal. I would be a lot more worried if the underlying stats weren't there. He basically, yesterday the shots weren't ideal, but he still created, off the top of my head, 4 or 5 chances. The week before that, he created 5 or 6 or something, massively outshot Bruno the week before as well. Had 3, 4, 5 shots, whereas Bruno had 1 off target. Going forwards, he just needs a fit Aguero.
Yeah. Yeah. You must have watched me on the FPL show on Thursday night, Seb. I think I said those exact words.
I did catch a little bit of that. And I echo your thoughts. It's not been ideal so far, but I'd be a lot more worried if the underlying stats weren't there. And they really are there.
Yeah, no, they are. Tobes, I saw you on Twitter saying the same thing pretty much. Oh, Rashford's really useful couple of step overs into the box. Good block by Captain Cooper, the only one that can defend at the 4. That's unfair. That's really unfair.
There was a time a couple of years ago as Leeds fans when if Liam Cooper started, we were like, okay, well, we're conceding 1 today then. Crazy how times change.
He played in the Premier League years ago, didn't he? Was it for Hull or someone? He got a couple of caps. Yeah. Tobes, KDB long term, you said earlier on Twitter about potentially being one that you just wouldn't consider moving on. You're seeing the numbers, you're liking what you see on the eye test as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I think echo everything that Seb said. KDB traditionally has been a bit of a set and forget over the last couple of years, 2-3 years. And I know his numbers this year perhaps haven't been quite as explosive as owners would have liked. But yeah, as Seb says, the underlying stats are there. He seems to have rattled the post a lot. I don't know if that's just me kind of with a bit of sort of observational bias, but the last 2 or 3 games I've watched, he seems to have rattled the post like 3 or 4 times. You know, another day and a bit of luck, and we'd be here talking about how KDB's racked up, dozens and dozens of points over the last few weeks. But yeah, I think eye test, underlying stats, all of those things combined. I think they've got a nice, juicy fixture next week, haven't they, against
Newcastle.
West Brom? Newcastle. I imagine a lot of people will be considering captaining De Bruyne. I'm one of them next week. I think he's a real obvious captain choice. So yeah, for me, Kevin De Bruyne is probably as close to essential as anyone else in that midfield at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, if we look at the stats over the last 4, not quite perfect anymore because obviously matches have taken place, but just purely expected goal involvement, XGI, De Bruyne is on 3.53. Rashford is ahead of Fernandes on 1.87. And where is Fernandes on this list? I don't even see him. Bruno Fernandes is down on 0.77. I think, like I say, because we're mid-game week, I think last time I checked, he was about 1.4. But either way, De Bruyne is easily doubling that. Now, of course, depends if people are taking penalties and all that stuff. But De Bruyne is putting the numbers in.
Yeah.
And like you say, it's the thickness of a crossbar that is between him scoring and not. Tom made a great point on the Scoutcast this week about, big chances, small chances. I recommend anyone goes and watches that if they're interested in maybe a little more detail on how XG and how chances can be understood. But the salient point talking about De Bruyne there was last season, I think he had a 10% conversion rate for small chances. Well, hitting the crossbar from 25 yards out maybe is a small chance. So far, he hasn't scored from open play and has had 30 shots, which have counted as small chances. You could say he's been unfortunate going on his own historical stats.
Yeah, and he's hit the woodwork twice in the last fortnight, both when he was my captain. But I think so many managers will look at the numbers and just look at the points produced and go, oh, I'm selling him for Salah, I'm selling him for Bruno, whatever. Blue Dot, you've called him the biggest fraud of the season, for example, because he's not scored that goal in open play. But look at more than that. Look at some of those underlying numbers, the XGI, for example, and just watch the guy. He's even more attractive this season than he was last, even without Aguero, who should be back soon, because he's playing number 10 as well. Don't forget that. Kev's asked, Seb, where's Strike the Leeds mid centre DM / centre back. Is it fair to say he can play centre back, or is he just a DM?
Yeah, he can definitely play centre back. In fact, it's his preferred position. He's been moved to DM a few times. I think he's played there for the under-23s, but he covered there for Phillips early in the season. You ask where he is, he's nowhere near first choice. He's on the bench today. He provides some coverage for centre back and defensive midfield, but he's well down the list. He's probably third in line for Phillips now, actually. After Shackleton played well, Click dropped in a few matches ago.
Yeah.
It might require a couple of... Rashford nearly through again there.
Yeah, and that was Martial teeing him up, which is nice to see. Martial's dropping in those little pockets, the Harry Kane pocket to feed Rashford, in the Bruno pocket, you might say, which is quite nice for someone that doesn't want Bruno to bang. Because when Phillips was injured, we saw Strike come in and play that for a couple of games, and then Shackleton got a go. Dallas moved in, although I don't think Dallas was ever the 4, was he?
No, I mean, the Click tended to drop in with Shackleton playing the Click role, Dallas coming in. It switched around a bit, but I'd say he's probably third in line now, maybe for that DM position. And then, you look today, we're playing Eiling at centre-back instead of starting Strout there. We did play Pascal Struijk there in the first match against Liverpool, I believe, when we had a similar sort of injury problem. So there's game time there maybe, but he's a little while away from it.
Apparently 136 managers have already bought McTominay in, says Misty Omegas. That is brilliant. Nuclear Atom saying, Toby with Captain Salah, no wonder he wrote a book about FPL. Love that. GM saying, bored already, goodbye. Thank you, GM. I hope you're still with us. I'm sure you are. Daniel, unfortunate, it's come back to bite KDB. So we've had a couple of questions about the premium midfielders. Pick 2 between Bruno, Salah, KDB, and pick 2 of the 3. So you can only have KDB, Bruno, and Salah. What 3 do you go for? Because Salah's nailed, so it's a bit of a toss of a coin, is it? Tobes, who would you go for if you're getting Bruno or KDB?
It's a really, really difficult one, to the point where it's almost like verging on a toss-up. I think you could make a pretty strong argument for either of them. It would probably, and I haven't got them to hand, it would probably come down to the fixture run. And I think possibly, off the top of my head, I think City have a slightly better fixture run, say the next 5 or 6 versus United. Therefore, that would probably be what edges me picking KDB over Bruno, I would say. But it's such a tough one to call. It really is.
Yeah. Seb, any thoughts on that?
I think, Salah's nailed, isn't he? Just looking at the 6-game projections on Fantasy Football Scout, Salah's up for about 43 points. And then De Bruyne and Fernandes are very close, 36 and 34.
Yeah.
As you said, De Bruyne's stats so far going in are better. I'd probably edge it for De Bruyne, but it's close.
Yeah. One thing I would say about Bruno is United haven't had a penalty for a few weeks, so I'm expecting Bruno to get some more penalty. And again, when we looked at those XGI stats earlier, Seb, Bruno wasn't the highest, or as high as we thought he has been in previous sort of months. But again, United haven't had a pen in probably the last month. I don't know off the top of my head.
Leicester have become the new penalty kings, right?
Yeah.
Was it 9 penalties in the last 14 games?
Useful, isn't it? Good job you haven't just sold Vardy, Tobes. Okay, quiz question, which we can expect to hear in the year 2030. Which Premier League player is the first ever to score 2 goals in the first 3 minutes of a football match?
Is that maybe Scott McTominay?
Yeah, it is. Thank you, Gaddy, for giving us that. Loving that. That will so be a quiz question, won't it? Or maybe it'll be on Who Wants to Be
No one's going to get the answer to that either. It's
No.
in 10 years' time, it's going to be such an obscure... I mean, with all due respect to Scott McTominay, I don't think in 10 years' time we'll be talking about him as this kind of United legend. But yeah, I think that'll stump a few people in 10 years' time.
Yeah,
I'm hoping to have forgotten about it by the second half.
What will McTominay's claim to fame be in 10 years' time? Will he be, I don't know, is he going to be playing for Stoke in 10 years' time? Will he have got 50 caps for Scotland? Will he have won anything with United? I'm not so sure. I don't know, maybe it'll be beating England for Scotland in the Euros this summer. Who knows? Scoring the winner at Wembley.
Scott McTominay's a funny one, isn't he? He's kind of like, he's fine.
Yeah.
Like, he's not great. He's not bad. If this was Alex Ferguson's Man United of however many years ago, he's a really solid player who might even play 70% of their matches.
It's like Darren Fletcher, isn't he?
Yeah, Exactly. And I mean, maybe Dan Fletcher's lows better, maybe he's worse. My point actually is you kind of can't tell. Because when he's in Solskjaer's team, surrounded with less quality, suddenly he's the butt of jokes. I think he's fine.
Oh, Dan James, rapid. Look at him go. Okay.
That's all he's got.
Yeah, that is absolutely all Tom Daly has got. So what time are we on? Because I've just seen McTominay, and I think you guys saw it at the same time. Sorry, Dan James. Leo's asking what minute we're on. I'm on 17, 55, 56, 57. Yeah?
I'm exactly the same, yeah.
Wow, that's never happened. So there you go. You can mirror with us. Just hit the 18:03, 04, 05. Okay, let's talk a little bit about Dan James, because this must be his first Premier League start. Is it of the season, or maybe he's got one or two in there? But certainly not started in the Premier League for a long time.
Well, hang on, Leeds are in here.
Oh, Bamford, get in!
That's going to be offside, isn't it?
Yeah, I looked offside.
It's immediately off.
You don't often see the flag go up straight away, and it did.
There was an initial shot that took a deflection, and Bamford was stood offside. I'm not sure who put that initial shot in. Rodrigo and Rafinha's haircuts were annoyingly similar.
Rodrigo, number 20.
Yeah.
Good finish, to be fair. He finished when he gets chances. It's like that. They're the ones that he needs to be finishing off when he's onside. It's bizarre.
I think we've said for a while that maybe one of the reasons he didn't score as many in the Championship, and he's going to score more in the Premier League than he did in the Championship at this rate. When he has time to think about it, for example, earlier this match coming inside on his right foot, he often doesn't pull a great finish out. But his instinctive finishes when he just doesn't have a moment are often on point.
Yeah. There's a few strikers like that. I'm trying to think in years gone by. Some strikers just aren't great when they have too much time.
Jermaine Defoe was the king of that.
Yeah.
Give him time. Useless, instinctive. Bang.
United are in it. I've got Fred running through the middle. Martial with a great run into the box. Martial to Bruno. Bruno smashes it bottom corner.
It's a goal. Bruno 3-0. That's good though. The effective ownership of Bruno, right? It's less than 100.
It's more to the point that I pulled over at the services to captain him. My wife told me not to.
Yeah.
I can't blame anyone but myself. I own Bruno. I should be happy. You're right, Tobes. The effective ownership I think is about 70%.
Yeah.
Martial did. I thought Martial was going to pull the trigger there, but Ayling gets a foot in, drops to Bruno on the angle about 8 yards out, and he just smashes it bottom corner. It's a really good finish again.
That won't be given to Martial as an assist, will it? Because it was essentially a tackle that pushed the ball to Bruno. Pretty sure it was a tackle from Ayling.
Yeah, I'm not even sure Bruno touches it.
Ayling just gets a foot on it. I'm pretty sure Martial won't get the assist for that.
Let's have a look.
I'd agree with you there. It's a good finish. It's tough. Through a couple of bodies, Melia has no chance, does he?
Maybe argue Ayling should do a little bit better. He kind of just sort of wafts a foot at it. Maybe if he'd have just, planted his foot, it might not have got through, but maybe been harsh.
It is days like today that I'm reminded we are playing Yeovil's right back at centre-back.
Yeah. Although his uncle played for Arsenal.
He started at Arsenal as well. Don't get me wrong, these players have done us beautifully, but it's not the defence you'd choose.
No, that's why I was asking you about Struck, because I was thinking, would you rather Ayling at centre-back or an actual centre-back at centre-back?
I think I'd rather Ayling, to be honest.
Would you? No assist given for that Bruno goal, by the way. You're right, Tobes.
To answer your earlier question as well, Dan James he's not played much. He's made 1, 2, 3. This is his 4th appearance of the season. He hasn't started. No, that's not true. He started against Newcastle in Gameweek 5. Started and also in Gameweek 6 against Chelsea. He's not, but he's never playing 90. And
I'll tell you who's someone else who might not play 90, Tobes. Bruno. He got hooked against Sheffield United at 75 minutes because they were 3-1 up. If they go, I don't think, because it's Leeds and we know that they do have that firepower and they will create chances, I don't think Ollie's going to be thinking they've won the game at half time if it stays 3-0.
No.
But come 60 minutes, with a quarter-final round the corner in a couple of days, rest your best player.
If they've still got a 3-goal cushion with 20 minutes to go, I think you'll see Bruno get hooked because they'll feel like the game is won. Something pretty remarkable has got to happen for that not to happen. And they've got someone in like Van der Beek who will come in and do a good job. I think you're right. But goal and assist 22 minutes in. If you're a Bruno captainer, you're a very happy person right now.
Yeah, you are. Seb, you own Bruno, right?
I do, yeah. I don't have him as captain, though. I have him as vice captain this week, which means nothing.
Yeah. Seb, your mic sounds really good, or have you got a slight cold? Because you do sound different this week. A bit huskier.
A little bit huskier. That'll be the oncoming depression from this match. No, this is the mic that I was kindly provided.
So you're not feeling a bit peaky?
Guess we'll ask me again in 3 to 4 days.
Or you're not hungover like Tobes was like for the Saturday morning deadline?
Not this time.
Although if you're still feeling hungover at 5 o'clock on a Sunday, yeah, you've probably had a really wild Saturday. Sorry, Tobes, go on.
No, I can't remember what I was going to say. Leeds on the attack there. Rafinha looked like he got a bit of a nasty one there. He stayed down. I'm not sure if there's any kind of malice in the tackle, but it looked like he got caught there. It kind of looked like a foul in real time. Rashford on the attack now, cuts it back to Martial. Yeah, Rashford kind of jinking on the edge of the box. Going to get a cross in here.
There's definitely a goal for us here, but I think there's just as many for Man United as well. Probably as many predicted. Neither team all that special maybe at defending what each other are providing, and so far we've definitely come off worse from that. But the ball's hardly spent any time in the middle of the pitch. It goes from one end to the other.
Rafinha rolls his ankle there.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was kind of just a bit unlucky, really. There was no malice in the tackle.
Oh, I don't know.
Maybe no malice, but he doesn't really get the ball, does he? And he's got legs out there.
Fred does tackle like that.
Old Trafford, though, innit? Not going to get that Old Trafford.
You may have guessed you're not watching a United fan here in me, Toby, or Seb. Seb's a Leeds fan. I'm a Chelsea fan. Tobes is a Spurs fan. And my least favourite team is. I'm not even going to say. I'm not even going to say it. I really want Bamford to score some goals, though. And I did fancy Bamford as we were warming up for the game. As my prediction came in at 4-3 Leeds. It can still happen.
I reckon I'm slowly turning you into
Bamford just over the bar. No. Sorry,
good chance. No, I was going to say I reckon I'm slowly turning you into. I know you dislike United, but I reckon Spurs are probably a close second for you, thanks to me, right?
I don't know. There's not much. No, do you know? I've always disliked the teams that I feel sort of threatened by. And over the years, Arsenal were one of them, Liverpool at times, United at times. So I just don't feel the Spurs threat, mate.
What did you make of the result earlier?
Tobes?
Yeah, disappointing. It was a strange one. I didn't think Leeds played particularly well, but they didn't have to in order to win the game. Spurs
Leicester.
Basically made... Sorry, who did I say?
Leeds.
Leicester didn't need to. A moment of absolute madness from Aurier, which we know he's prone to. 46th minute of the first half gives away an absolutely mad penalty. And as we know, scoring goals, particularly at times like that, change games. Another defensive error for the own goal. Apart from that, Leicester didn't really create an awful lot. Spurs didn't get kind of cut open at any point, but equally we were a little bit toothless up front. Possibly a couple of penalty shouts, but clutching at straws at that end. Son wasn't particularly on it. Kane wasn't particularly on it. Bale pretty anonymous when he came on. It's been a tough run for Spurs and Jose. They've dropped obviously points against Palace, dropped points against Liverpool, dropped points against Leicester today. Their fixtures do turn, but as we've seen, Spurs actually typically have struggled to kind of break down the lesser teams and have tended to have more success against the better teams. So, need to see a bit of a revival from Spurs over the next few weeks.
The beauty there, though, for me with Spurs is in Harry Kane they have one of the most in-form cut out there by Wan-Bissaka, good ball in. Bamford was waiting for an open goal.
Gifted there as well, wasn't it? I think we tackled into us.
Yeah. Harry Kane just looks so good this season, and when you've got Kane in your team, and anything can happen. I think Jose's really got him playing. He looks brilliant this year. Like I was as an FPL asset, I think Kane's going to be great for those that have just bought him in or that still have him and are holding him. I know he didn't return today, but just looks so bright. And on another day, Kane could have had a couple of goals today. They weren't massive chances he had, but he had quite a few halves.
I mean, it's kind of. Maybe not quite regression to the mean. Looking at the stats, there's not too much in it, like you say today. But I don't think anyone could argue that so far Spurs have either been lucky or just overperformed due to quality, whichever way you want to swing it.
Yeah,
they have taken the chances as they've come and dropped very, very little. If today is one of the days where they drop a few, that's kind of fair enough.
Yeah, they've been incredibly clinical, which that isn't sustainable. I think like Son in particular, Son's conversion rate is insane this year. But yeah, I wouldn't, if I was I am a Son owner, if I was a Kane and or Son owner, I wouldn't be looking to get rid of them at this point. They had a bit of an off day today, but I think over the next 4 to 5 game weeks, I think you'll see some pretty steady returns from those two. I wouldn't be kind of alarm bells ringing for me on those two right now.
And the advantage of not blanking, I believe, as well.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm looking forward to this. At half-time, guys, stay with us. We are going to be talking chip strategy. I'm going to get the thoughts of Tobes and Seb, what they're thinking. I guarantee I'll be thinking something different to at least one of them. Live XG is currently showing, according to Richology, thank you for letting us know, Man United 0.53, Leeds 0.64.
So what I'm hearing is we're winning.
Yeah, and you're probably winning in possession, Seb, like you always are. I'd be interested to see that, actually.
If only that's how football was played. 59% possession. It's just Leeds, isn't it, really?
Have Leeds had fewer than 50% possession against anyone this season over 90 minutes? Because you dominated the ball against Liverpool, City and Chelsea.
Off the top of my head, no. I haven't checked recently, so there's a chance I'm wrong. But like you say, I know we had more against City and Liverpool, which are probably the ones you'd think we'd lose out on. You're telling me Chelsea, so yeah, I'd be happy to say no, we haven't. It's probably not even that close either. I mean, we regularly hit 60 to 70.
Yeah. Going back to Spurs assets, anyone on the double up or looking at the double up? Son and Kane.
I have none at the moment. I did have a double until recently. Took it out for the De Bruyne, Fernandes, Salah trio, which I'm probably about even on those transfers, to be fair. I had 2 free transfers this week, which I used very boringly to bring in Sanchez for Guaita and Souček for Bissouma, basically just for some forward planning, some coverage. I probably won't do anything this week. With Spurs having Wolves, I'm happy to miss that.
Yeah.
And then I'm probably looking at Son.
Fulham game week 16.
Exactly. The only reason I wouldn't bring Kane in, although I mean against Fulham you'd really fancy Kane, is just the price. I think I'd have to shift too much around. And as you know, we'll talk about it more at half time, but my chip strategy at the moment is a bit up in the air. I kind of don't want to commit too far either way. So one Spurs player in the next 2 weeks is likely for me.
Tobes? Son and Kane?
I would say that it could be a nice differential going into this nice run of fixtures that Spurs have got. As Seb alluded to, the difficulty is, unless you've probably currently got a Werner or a Vardy in your team, getting Kane in is actually quite tricky without probably performing some quite major surgery, which a lot of people won't want to do. And if it comes down to one of them, I think in terms of points per million, Son will probably match Kane, if not be better than Kane. So that's why I bought Son in for that little run. But yeah, I absolutely wouldn't be against Kane if you're able to get him in without taking major surgery to your team, as you weren't, right, Jan? You were able to do Werner to Kane without taking a hit, and I think that's a good move.
Yeah, it was easier for me to get Kane in my team than it was Son, despite the price. So it was my mind was made up there. But also, I feel like, yes, both have been overachieving this season, and both always do. But I feel like Son's perhaps not sustainable for the rest of the season, those numbers, and I feel like Kane's might be, and that's just a bit of a hunch. I'm not going off anything there. Both are overperformers. Seb, I can see you smiling.
Son's a really, really, really interesting one. So his entire career, he has overperformed XG.
Yeah.
This season, I think, is his best. He's something like 5 goals over XG, whereas in the past 2 or 3 or so.
Yeah.
But he's always been more clinical than the average, which is fair. He's a great finisher. You'd expect that.
Martial in here. Good tackle by Ayling. Carry on, Seb.
I would... Not watching for a second. Can't take anymore. I would recommend people go watch this week's Scoutcast. Ted in particular highlighted Son himself, and when you look at XG is one number, it shows us an average over a period of time. It's useful, it's instructive, but maybe we can get a bit more from it. He had a visualization that showed small chances and big chances, and on the surface you'd think, okay, but that's still just XG because they combine to be XG. The interesting thing was looking at how those were presented. Someone like Spurs were getting few small chances and a lot of big chances, which means fine, they're not going to score maybe as many as you want or not have as many chances, but when they do, they're going to be big chances. If all of those fall to Son and Kane, who we know are clinical, maybe they've got a better chance of scoring than the average. And then, something I referenced earlier with De Bruyne and his small chances, Son is overperforming his small chances by a massive amount this season, but only by a couple of goals. Something like, we mentioned De Bruyne last year was the best at 10%. I think Son's currently operating at 25 to 30%. So that's not sustainable.
Yeah.
but he is pretty much par for the course on what we would expect in conversion rate for big chances. So if he loses a couple of goals just for some speculative shots, fine. But realistically, every time he breaks down one-on-one with a goalkeeper, he's probably performing where we'd expect him to. And those are the chances that we expect Spurs to get. And I think, there's much more to it than that. But I think maybe that is kind of a little edge in the doorway into why Spurs are performing like they are. They're definitely overperforming the stats, but they're also playing to their strengths.
Yeah, and Jose's strengths too. We know he knows how to set a team up that will do well for the likes of Son. In the chat, we've got Andy watching. Andy, hello. He asks, has Gianni been talking about the PE teacher yet? No comment. Actually, no, I will say. I did mention the PE teacher, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, before we went live when I was on the Zoom call to Tobes earlier. But I haven't live, no, because United are winning and they're doing really well. So rather than dig out Ole, I'll be digging out Wan-Bissaka at some point.
Do you know why he did get a mention as PE teacher, which was kind of a bit tongue-in-cheek, is the slightly strange decision to not fully stack his bench today, right? He's only got 7 on the bench when he could have 9. And it seems kind of weird that he hasn't just stuck to academy lads on the bench who aren't going to get a sniff, but good experience for them. Oh, good chance for Leeds. Great save by De Gea. Ooh.
Good save.
I think it was Rafinha with the shot.
Rafinha with his wonder left.
Offside, I think, or a foul in the end. But...
Okay.
So go on, Tobes. You were saying 9 subs. United are the only team so far that we've noticed that haven't done it. Why? Well, Ollie doesn't know the rules, does he?
We did joke that maybe he didn't get the memo from the Premier League, but I don't think that. I'm sure he's got a good reason for not having a fully stacked bench, but it does seem a little bit strange.
Maybe it's one of those
lack of respect.
Maybe it's that one of those really experienced coaches he's got next to him, like Michael Carrick, that perhaps just didn't know the rules. Dan James in on the right here, outpacing Alioski. Good ball in across the box to Rashford, but no, it looks like he's got too many players behind the ball now, Leeds. And it breaks to Bruno, who, going nowhere with Martial on the edge of the box. Seb, are you impressed with United? Because this season, they've been quite poor in the Champions League. They've underwhelmed at times in the Premier League. They've played some really good spells of 45 minutes coming from behind. Yet, if they win today, I'm guessing they go sort of 3rd or 4th, or maybe even 2nd. Like, it's pretty good considering there's been so much, Ollie hasn't got a clue chat.
I mean, they're 3rd, behind Leicester and ahead of Everton, which is maybe all you need to know. They've been okay. I think it's on the edge, right? You can hear me struggling to maybe make my mind up.
Yeah.
It's Man. I sound like every pundit, right? It's Man United. But realistically, this is close to the bare minimum. There have been some awful performances, especially in the Champions League and in the league as well. Late comebacks because they have quality players. Fair enough. But every week, can you rely on that? At what point are they going to just go out and stamp a 3-0 in the first 35? Oh, yeah, fair enough. But even today, I mean, XG in one match is a nonsense. It's average over time. But even today, they've taken their chances well. They're putting us to the sword. But would they do this every week against us? Would they do this every week against every other team? There's certainly something more to be found. And with some of the players they've got, everyone knows it, right? Solskjaer isn't Alex Ferguson. He's probably just about acceptable. Is that what they want going forwards?
Yeah, there's been more activity from United, by the way. Looks like there's going to be a corner. And Luke Shaw is walking over to take the corner. So I'm pleased to see that if there is a goal coming, it's not Bruno taking the corner. It's Luke Shaw on his left. Luke Shaw is in the team ahead of Alex Telles, of course.
But it could be Bruno on the end of this corner, right?
Yeah, he doesn't win many headers. I'm guessing it will be Maguire.
The poor Scholes goal.
It'll be Maguire. It'll be Maguire, won't it? A 50p head. Ball comes in from Shaw. Header, back stick, Lindelof, flick on, and the near post was Martial with the assist, or was it Bruno?
Bruno was outside the area. It wasn't Bruno. I think he was outside the area.
4-0 United after 36 minutes. They are smashing Leeds to pieces.
Set pieces are not our one. You could see that coming.
Okay, so I'm seeing the replay here. It's a poor corner from Shaw. Well, no, maybe not. It's a good flick on to Martial near post.
It's bad defending. I mean, Bamford blocks off. Is it Stuart Dallas marking Martial?
Stuart Dallas on -2, by the way.
I've got a Luke Ayling to come in for Lamptey, so good times.
Yeah, I've got Dallas. So to be fair, Dallas did burgle a goal last week, so can't be too.
He's burgled 2 goals for you, mate. You're the only one that gets defenders scoring. Lindelof. Even Lindelof scoring. You don't see him score many.
Got an assist in the week as well, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, we wondered where that through ball came from, and it was Victor. So where are we at with United, Tobes? How would you summarise it? Seb and I have given our 2 pence worth. I mean, we both aren't Ollie's biggest fans, but the results don't lie, I guess.
It's a really bizarre one. I think again, Seb summed it up pretty perfectly. I think if you ask most United fans, they'll point to the league table and they'll go, "We're second, win the game in hand. They're right up behind Liverpool," which is absolutely true. But there is something a little bit off this season, and I think it'd be difficult to find a United fan that wouldn't admit that. And like Seb said, they've clawed themselves out of difficult situations a number of times. Like you think back to when they beat Brighton, didn't they, in the last minute after the final whistle had gone. Southampton, they had a last-minute winner in the Champions League. They've had a couple of dodgy results. It just hasn't. It certainly doesn't feel like that kind of United of old, where they're just going out and hammering teams week in, week out, and you're thinking, "Geez, these guys are the real deal." Yeah. And so, my view would be that United are a really good shout for top 4 this year. I don't think they'll challenge for the title. Might be too early to say it, but Liverpool, I think, look miles ahead of anyone. I think this year, I think the game against Palace, they looked ominously good. Man City are off it a little bit this year as well. I could see a situation where Liverpool win the league by quite a distance again this year. But I think it'll make the top 4 race really interesting. I think you've got teams in there that are real contenders. Spurs will be up there. Chelsea will probably be up there. Everton could be up there. Southampton could be up there. And obviously that's, we can probably take Arsenal out of the equation fairly comfortably. Man City will be up there. It's going to be a real bun fight, I think, for top 4 spots. But yeah, I would say that. In order, if I had to say now, I would go Liverpool winning it, City second, Spurs third, and Manchester United fourth. Sorry, Gianni, Chelsea fan.
No, I was thinking that was coming. Martial's in again here, guys. Oh, it's offside. Phew.
It's offside, yeah.
Oh, it would have been McTominay with a hat-trick. No, it wouldn't. It goes past the post.
Can you imagine?
Top 4 is going to be so difficult, isn't it, to predict? Like, I'm with you, Tobes. Liverpool win it. I think City probably gets second, but I think second, third, and fourth will be really close. I think Liverpool win by 10 points, and then
I didn't even mention Leicester as well. Leicester will be up there. I think it's going to be. To be fair, unless you're Liverpool, probably not winning the league is probably not acceptable this year. Everyone else, top 4, you're going to say you've had a good season if you get in that top 4.
I mean, Leicester arguably last year had top 4 nailed on, and lockdown, they didn't come back sharp, but they lost Ndidi, they lost Ricardo Pereira. Did they lose a centre-back as well, I believe, for that time? Similar to Liverpool lost Van Dijk and are doing fine, but they lost some really key players. Yeah, quite possibly. I think it might have been. But they look certain for top 4 as much as you can be, and everything went against them. Once again, we're 14 games in, they sit second on 27 points, 4 points behind Liverpool, who we've just praised. They've beaten Spurs. If they keep this up and we don't have, another break in play for something to go wrong, or they don't have key injuries, it's kind of hard to think they might not squeeze in there.
Leicester have actually
Leeds
just got
corner, guys, coming in from Rafinha with his left foot.
Dallas
looks
header.
like there's been a goal. Is it
Have we...
Dallas? It looks like that.
No,
it's Cooper.
Liam Cooper.
Cooper, I think.
It's a really good header.
We've scored from a set piece. That's worth 4 goals. we don't score from set pieces.
And United with the zonal marking, of course. McTominay's caught under the ball, and it's a good header. That in off the post, I think.
Who took the corner?
Rafinha. Who at 5.4 million as a midfielder playing in a front 3 in a team that produce a lot of chances, probably Leeds' most creative source. Seb, good value.
Easy to say now after he's just got an assist, but asked a few times on Twitter in the week, say him, Harrison, Click, definitely him.
Yeah.
His stats from in midweek even, I think he had 4 or 5 shots, created a couple of chances.
Yeah.
He certainly looks the most threatening out of what we've got at the moment. Maybe the best option rotates, maybe it comes in fits and starts, but he was very, very good at Rennes. They were very unhappy to lose him for a good price, and he's a good player.
Sorry to interrupt. Leeds on the charge again here. They get another one before half time, and this is interesting.
Yeah, if that was a better delivery, that cross coming in, I think it was Rafinha. Rodrigo's unmarked in the middle, and Wan-Bissaka's behind him and clears.
Is it a dumb conversation to suggest Rodrigo could match Bamford's points?
Yeah.
Is that
Rodrigo or Rafinha?
Rodrigo?
I don't. I mean, from if they both started on 0 here, maybe. But obviously, Bamford's got such a head start. I don't think Rodrigo's catching him.
His numbers in Spain, though, he had one brilliant season at Valencia. Outside of that, he's never been clinical.
Oh no, indeed. But he's played second striker quite a lot. He played from the right. I don't think, as a lot of people said in the summer, I don't think we signed him as a direct Bamford replacement. Sure, maybe if Bamford wasn't up to it for half a season, but Bamford was always going to get at least half a season. He's currently playing in that sort of progressive 8, number 10 role. He could play from the right. We've got Rafinha now, of course. I don't think he's going to spend much time up front, and I don't really think that's his best position. He's more creative probably than he is clinical.
Nitin in the chat has asked Podence or Neto, and I answered this question midweek. Neto all day long for me. Look, I think both are good value. With Raul Jimenez out the team, we could see Neto as the number 9. I know Fabio Silva's been getting some game time, but if we're going to see one of them playing further up in the 9 role, it will be Neto. United in again, Rashford just wide. I think that gets a nip. That's probably going in, but it's a good block by, is it Ayling?
Yeah, hard to tell from that angle, but it certainly takes something, doesn't it?
Rashford.
Melia is stuck to the spot.
It's like a basketball game, this, isn't it? Like, you can't take your eyes off it. It's just end to end to end.
Melier's not made a save yet, has he?
No.
You conceded 4 goals, and I don't think Leeds goalkeeper's made a save. And actually, De Gea made 1 good save with his feet. But yeah, we've seen 5 goals and probably only 2 saves. Bruno with the corner for United. So Bruno on corners on the right side, Short on the left. United going with the outswingers on both. Clearance by Leeds.
I don't think we need Bruno for... corners aren't what his points are stapled on, are they? Corners are... there you go. There's your save.
Rashford on his left foot, edge of the box. Good. He's going bottom corner. There's a lot of shots on target. And yeah, good save by Melier. So going quickly back to top 4. Tobes, you said Liverpool, City, Spurs and United. I'm going with the same, but I'm going United to finish 5th and Chelsea to get 4th. Seb? I think Spurs get top 4. I think it's a Mourinho effect. I think the PE teacher will struggle second half of the season.
Man City and Liverpool. And then it really is Chelsea, United, Leicester, Spurs. At one point Everton, probably not anymore. Close enough. I'm going to go Leicester, so for the 3rd spot. And then Chelsea, Spurs. That's crazy. Chelsea, Spurs, Man United. Man United.
You don't think Leicester with the Europa League run, they could go far in that competition? A lot of Thursday night Channel 5 games?
That's a good shout. Maybe they bin it off. Maybe they see that as their way into the Champions League, to be fair. If you start getting to quarterfinals, semi-finals, it's possibly an even better chance.
Yeah, that's where United might be at too. Obviously, they didn't qualify out the Champions League group stages, unlike teams like Chelsea and City and Liverpool, the big 3. Guys, we're very close to half-time, but we're going to be talking chip strategy, which I'm very excited about because there are so many variations of what we can do. And for someone like me that's having a shocker of a season, I really see this as an excuse to do something maybe a little bit different and gain some big points. And remember, there will be a huge amount of managers that are perhaps fairly novice, fairly new to the game, don't particularly understand about the double game weeks, may have used chips already this season instead of saving them. So I'm really hoping I can leapfrog all of those casuals that are perhaps ranked at 3 million.
Just before we get into that, out of interest, do either of you two have your... I know you don't, Jan. Seb, do you have your wild card, your first wild card?
I do not. I certainly wish I did. And when I used it, I knew this would come. But
yeah,
I put myself in an okay position using it. I felt I had to.
Yeah, no, the only reason I ask is because I think there is a huge difference in chip strategy if you do still have your first wild card. And obviously, we're all going to be talking from the point of view of not having one. But it's probably going to be worth us touching on what we think we would do if we'd still had that first
we will have a wild card, Tobes. I know we won't have wild card 1, but there is a school of thought that would say you use your wild card 2.
I will say this straight up. I do not think anyone should do that. I mean, if you want to, go ahead.
That's what Gianni was going to do. That you've just busted his theory. That was what he's got planned. I knew it.
Okay. No, it's not. Don't worry, Seb. It's not. I've posted on Twitter what I'm going to do.
I'm down for being talked into it.
No, I need that second wild card for as long as possible, I think. But yeah, I mean, if you've got your wild card 1, this is a massive advantage now, because we always thought there might be a double game week coming up around sort of game week 19, 20, and we've got it, but we got a huge one. We got 15 fixtures in game week 19. We got obviously 5 fixtures in game week 18. I think your strategy probably, and loads of you are joining us now, so let's go into it. I think your strategy probably is set on how many players you've already got in your team that are playing in game week 18 and how many you've already got in your team that are on the double. I happen to have quite a few players already that play in the blank, probably 6 or 7, maybe 6. So whilst I sort of bring up the fixtures, I'm going to come to you first, Seb, with what you're thinking your strategy might be. I know you're not set and you're keeping your options open, but where are you veering towards?
So, yeah, I mean, I'm in a kind of similar position to I was yesterday when I was talking to Andy, and my decision at the moment is to keep my options open. My 2 transfers this week, were made last minute, so not ideal. I made the best of what I had, but deliberately didn't try and lock myself into either strategy. Looking at my team, I currently have, I think it's 4 or 5 who would blank in the blank game week, which maybe leans me towards building a team that can get 10 or 11 out for that week, and then taking advantage of the double. So maybe I free hit in that week, get a full team out, and then have a team for the long term. Of course, that would mean I then don't have the free hit later. I'm not entirely sure. And I think one thing as well that I almost deliberately don't want to plan too much just yet, because how much have we seen De Bruyne injuries, Jota injuries, Salah being rested, whatever it is. Aguero comes back and scores a hat-trick next week, and suddenly you go, there's another £10 million option. I think people will. I think if you plan carefully for this double and blank, you'll do well out of it. But I think there will be 1 or 2 people who plan meticulously for it, leave nothing else to happen, and then we see Bruno Fernandes get injured on the night before it, or something like that.
Yeah. Don't forget, guys, of course the double is massive, but there's still 4 or 5 game weeks. So if, for example, you're targeting all those double game weekers in game week 19, and Spurs, of course, don't have a double fixture in 19, but don't forget Harry Kane and Son have Fulham in game week 16. So, they might be players that ordinarily you'd be looking to bring in that you stop yourself from doing just because of the double. But don't let that affect your thinking too much. It's got to be part of it, but not everything. Seb?
And don't we have potentially, I'm not sure, but potentially a small chance of further fixtures going into 18?
We do.
With Aston Villa
Man
and
City.
friends who, So again, that's one of those, you start planning now, and maybe in a couple of weeks' time you think, oh goodness, maybe I need that City player that I can no longer get in.
Yeah. Tobes, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty difficult to argue with Seb's strategy. I was just, as you guys were talking, actually thinking more about a strategy that I can't do because I don't have my first wild card. But for those that do have their wild card 1, I think the pretty obvious strategy is to probably use that in 16, free hit in 18, bench boost in 19. That would be what I would do if I had my first wild card. The way that I think I will play it is that I will free hit in 18, and I would probably encourage anybody, regardless of the strategy they're using, to free hit in 18, given that it is such a heavy blank. And then really, I think it comes down to how willing you are to use 2 chips in 2 consecutive game weeks, because I think you've then got an opportunity in 19 to use either your triple captain, if you haven't already used it, or your bench boost, or not at all. You've kind of got 3 different options there. Free hit only, free hit followed by bench boost, free hit followed by triple captain. I'm quite liking the idea of using my triple captain in 19, finding a player that I think will have 2 really good home fixtures, of which there are a couple of options. Not necessarily home fixtures, but 2 really good fixtures against lesser teams.
Liverpool have got Burnley and United. United have got Liverpool and Fulham. So you could argue, Salah's a great shout for United, and then Burnley at home. Chelsea have got Leicester and Fulham. So
Bamford has got Brighton and Southampton.
Yeah,
there we go. Boom, done.
Both at home though, and Bamford only scores away, right?
Slightly more realistically, and I'm not suggesting this, but West Ham have Burnley and West Brom.
Yeah.
A fit Michael Antonio, maybe you don't triple captain him, but if he's fit, I think I'll have him.
Yeah. If you're building a free hit team for that week, or you're just looking at double game weekers, Antonio and Bowen will be West Ham players. Everyone will go West Ham triple for sure with those fixtures.
Allow me to counter the triple captain with, I don't know if I'd use it, but if you must use a chip in that week, bench boost is better than triple captain.
Yep.
The triple captain later in the season, odds are, we don't know for sure, but we're likely to see a big team definitely have a double because of how the cup fixtures go. This time round, we've just mentioned West Ham, we've mentioned Leeds, Southampton play twice as well, I think. You possibly have more cheap players playing twice than you have had in recent memory, and will definitely have later in the season, I think. Even if we do have some later in the season, they've got favourable fixtures because later in the season, they're likely to be playing twice because they're playing City or Liverpool. Mm. I think this is an opportunity to use what sometimes is over-egged in a double, a bench boost. You end up playing a defender who gets 2 points in both weeks. Yep. You could possibly bench boost with a West Ham defender who have Burnley and West Brom. You could have Southampton defenders, Leeds and Leicester, maybe not perfect, but McCarthy. I think you could have quite a cheap bench that gets you significant points.
The problem with bench boost, if you go for bench boost in 19, Seb, I don't know what your thoughts on this are too, Tobes. If you're going bench boost, you have to have 4 subs playing. And there's so many squads out there that don't have a second goalkeeper, that have Mitchell on the bench that isn't playing. Do you want to use your transfers between now and then to waste a transfer on a reserve goalkeeper, on a likes of a 4 million defender up to a 4.5? If you've got a good enough squad already, bench boost is an option. If you're someone like me that has three subs that don't play, including a goalkeeper, I'm not going to be able to use my transfers on those players. I've got other fires and other wants in the game.
I think realistically, the wild card needs to be used in conjunction with that bench boost, whether that's now or later in the season. Because if you don't, like you say, it's tough to get that team out. Maybe you've got a team that is in a good position, 4 or 5 transfers can do it. But if you can, I'd seriously look at it. Like you said, the wild card maybe is the key that unlocks it.
Yeah. Go on, Tobes.
No, I was just going to say in summary, and it's a really good point, and probably convinces me enough of actually not playing the second chip. I think the free hit in 18 is pretty much nailed on. But I think actually Seb makes a very good point about triple captain and there probably being a better fixture, a bigger team having 2 better fixtures later on in the season. That's almost a certainty. And yeah, I think, Jan, your point is also a very important one in that if you haven't got your wild card, you're going to have to do some, not necessarily surgery to your team, but you're going to have to be making some transfers in the lead up to that, which you maybe don't really want to make. And given that there's COVID, there's going to be a ton of injuries over the Christmas period, given the schedule, you could really shoot yourself in the foot, bundling your team full of players that you think are going to have the double, and then finding that 2 of them are injured, 2 of them are rotated, and feel like you've wasted your time.
That's why I'm looking at a double game week in 19 as my free hit, because I don't want to prep for it. Well, I do. I'm happy to prep for it, but at the same time, so much can happen. And I want to make sure that going into that week, hours before the deadline, I've got all the team news and I can go with 11 men that I can almost bank on them playing 90 that week. 180 that week. I also look at 18 and go, those 5 fixtures for me don't lend itself to a brilliant free hit team. Yes, it will be a better free hit team that I can put out with 7 or 8 men, but I can't see where the massive gains are coming. Yes, Man City have got Brighton, so, Aguero, Sterling, KDB, whatever, nice. Players that perhaps you can't ordinarily fit in. Spurs go to Villa. Yeah, okay, so maybe you go for a Spurs triple up. But try predicting and bringing in FPL assets from Sheffield United versus Newcastle, from Wolves versus Everton, from Arsenal versus Palace. They're not fixtures for me that lend itself to a massive high ceiling of a small game week. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm probably only going to be able to get 7 or 8 players out. So I'm conscious that I'll have a lower than average score that week. But I don't think there'll be anyone that absolutely kills me because I'll still have Kane, I'll still have KDB. Do
you think, so totally open question here, do you think you would feel the same way had you been having a really, say if your overall rank right now was 50k, would you be thinking this same strategy than it is? Do you think you're thinking this way because you want to make up some ground and do something a little bit different? Or do you think this is something you would do regardless of your rank?
Do you think that's different? So what Gianni is suggesting, which is free hit 19 and try and just tide over 18, yeah? Do you think that's maybe I guess you're suggesting that's the less popular strategy?
Yeah, I think that possibly will be less popular, although in the comments, please tell me if that isn't, and that is what the majority are going to go with. I could be wrong. I think though most people probably myself included, will free hit, and that will be that for the chips over that couple of game weeks, I think.
Interesting. I think that's where I'm leaning, partially again because maybe my team will suit it a bit more without taking several hits. I think, if we get another game scheduled in that week, especially if it's Man City Villa double or something, then maybe that swings it for me. But something to consider is if you don't have that wild card, you need to leave these 2 weeks with the team you're happy with. Yeah. If I'm free hitting in 19, I don't lock myself into, nonsense doubles that I haven't really considered yet. I don't know, 3 Brighton players or whatever it ends up being, 3 Southampton, maybe even if they're doing well. I think if the team I have to have is the one that I play in 18, we think about the big hitters, which has been the big thing everyone's discussed a lot this season. I could have Son, I could have De Bruyne, I can have my Villa players, Watkins and Grealish still. I could have Martinez, Everton are there for me. Crystal Palace, not so much, fair enough. But if then Man City end up getting a double and maybe Villa alongside that, I wonder if I can come out of 18 with a slightly more solid team than I could come out of 19 with, because I build it around City and Spurs effectively, with a good supporting cast of like Villa, Wolves, Everton, Brighton.
Yeah, and I think the point there is that there are probably a lot of managers in a similar situation that have a team makeup like the one you've just described, because a lot of people will have Kane and or Son or both. A lot of people will have a Grealish, maybe a Watkins, probably a Villa defender. There are a lot of people that are probably going to have a reasonable number of people in that blank. And yeah, of course, that is completely going to sway your strategy. Can you get a good enough team out in that free hit? So yeah, it's a really tough. It's a really personal thing. Obviously, what you do is going to be dependent on the team you've got, the chips you've got left, and yeah, there probably isn't an optimum way of doing it. The optimum way will become clear a game week after when we see who does well and who doesn't do well, and everyone will go, "Oh yeah, I was absolutely right for doing it that way." But yeah, as we know, it's been a strange season this year, and who the hell knows what's going to happen.
I'm going with. I think I am set, but likewise, I'm keeping my options open for another week, I think. But what I've seen on Twitter is the most popular, the version of events that I said, i.e. you go for you build your team towards 18, your free hit in 19, definitely isn't the most popular option. The most popular option is to use your free hit in the blank. And I've seen loads in the chat saying they're doing the same. But yeah, I mean, it's very personal to what setup you've got. But it's going to be really interesting. One thing I would say is, regardless of what you're doing in 18 and 19, try and cover the best, the big premiums if you can, i.e. the most popular captain pick of game week 18 and 19. No matter what you're doing, try and own that player. So for all those on a free hit in 18, if you're not, for example, and they're all going captain KDB, try and have KDB in your team anyway. Just so if it does bang, you've at least got the most popular captaincy option covered. That's something I'll be certainly looking to do when everyone does go for the free hit in 18.
I think if you've got that wild card in 16, then what you were just saying maybe does make more sense, but I don't. So maybe I swing the other way. There's one more if we have time for it.
Yeah.
One more approach I'd like to chat about. What if you have neither? No wild card, no free hit, which I think, with how the season has gone, plenty of people might.
Yeah. Then you probably don't even use a chip. You forget trying to use your triple captain, your bench boost, and you just build a team where you can get 8 players out in game week 18, and you build a team in game week 19 where, yes, you have a lot of doubles, but you have players that don't have a double in 19 but still have a really good fixture. And that's the problem with my strategy. I look at game week 19, I won't have Harry Kane, who has Sheffield United, because I want everyone playing 180 minutes. Kane has one fixture. Man City, I won't have KDB. He has one fixture. So for all those that perhaps can't fill game week 19 with the double game weekers, you're relying on the likes of Man City and Spurs assets who have brilliant fixtures to still produce. And there's a very good chance they will.
I would argue those are the people that can take advantage of the matches before and after that the rest of us are sacrificing.
Yeah.
Maybe the key is you need 2 transfers between 18 and 19. That is going to help you a lot. Even if you want to take a hit, then you've got 3 transfers, you could shift quite a bit around. And I would say identify the key players that play in both. So if we're looking at Spurs, we're looking at City, maybe those are the big players you want to be going in there with, because even if you're not going to hit the heights of someone who, I don't know, has Salah and triple captains him, if you can cover both those weeks with the big hitters, you leave yourself nicely in the middle. And realistically, you're not going to be able to hit the heights without the chips.
Hunden's asked in the chat, why wouldn't you use your triple captain in game week 19 if you don't have a free hit and wild card? Yeah, no, I'm not saying you wouldn't. I think triple captain in 19, I actually quite like too, and I know Tobes has mentioned it. Let's just quickly look at those doubles. Who would you captain? I mean, it has to be Salah, doesn't it? Salah's got United, which Liverpool are at home, and Salah's brilliant at home, and United aren't great defensively, and then Liverpool are at home to Burnley. So you could have Mo Salah having 2 home fixtures as a triple captain. It doesn't get much better than that in terms of on paper, but people are put off by the United fixture. But I don't think you should be.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. And I think even, United are winning 4-1 today, but we're still in a situation where Leeds have scored 1. Bamford's had a couple of good chances. United will concede goals. They conceded 6, didn't they, to Spurs. At the back, they are suspect. And if anyone's going to expose that, it's going to be Liverpool, who we're seeing starting to really turn it on now. It's Liverpool versus United. It's one of those games that Liverpool desperately want to win. It's one of those that Man United desperately want to win, of course, as well. But Liverpool are the superior team at the moment. And wouldn't back against them scoring 3 or 4 goals and Salah being heavily involved in that fixture. So yeah.
I think I'm trying to find like a contrary angle, and I kind of can't, which maybe proves that it probably is Salah. I think one way of looking at it is, say there were no doubles at all this season. Liverpool at home to Burnley is probably quite a good time to use your triple captain. So you just get a free hit at Man United. And as Toby covered pretty well there, if Man United give it the chances they've given to us today, Salah scores goals.
Yeah,
exactly.
Okay, guys, we'll probably move on. Kev's asked, who's going to be on pens for Leeds now? Who would be on pens for Leeds? Usually Klitsch, has he gone off?
Yes.
Maybe he's been subbed.
Has he come off?
Will Bamford step up to take penalties, Seb, if Klitsch isn't on the pitch? I mean, we've not seen a penalty for Leeds this season, have we, without Klitsch on the pitch?
Pascal Struck has come on as well for Calvin Phillips, just for the people asking earlier. So,
my DM.
Which Bielsa has done before. He's removed the DM in games we've not been doing well in. Maybe with how you've seen United attacking, coming straight through that defensive midfield position, he's unhappy with what Phillips has done.
He's been your best player this season, though, Phillips, or one of them. It's weird. Do you reckon he might have a knock, Seb?
I think maybe, but then Bielsa has done this before. He's subbed Phillips within 20 minutes before because it hasn't been working a while ago. But I'd back it was tactical. I've not seen a knock, maybe, but I'd back it's tactical. Not that Struck is all that much better, to be honest.
Yeah.
And Dallas and Bamford have probably been a little bit ahead of Phillips so far this season. In terms of who would be on penalties, we've got Bamford on the pitch. Rodrigo may have taken some in the past.
Oh, Bruno's in here. Feeds Martial. Martial, he's got to score. Oh, just wide. So close.
That's a bad
Bruno
finish.
assist.
That is a bad finish.
Yeah, he's got to put that one away.
That's probably the biggest chance United have had this game, I'd say.
Definitely, yeah.
Just to answer the question, if Pablo comes on, probably him. Until then, I would say Bamford, but maybe Rodrigo or Rafinha could steal it.
Okay. And speaking of Pablo, Leeds' most creative force in the Championship. He's like a fine wine, gets better with age, but at some point he's over the hill, and I'm guessing he's getting to the point where he's almost, what is he, 36, 37?
Yeah, 36. He's been injured the early part of this season, and even at the end of the Championship season, he was actually coming off the bench rather than starting,
right,
and putting in performances in the second 45. So, yeah, he's maybe like you said, you put it well. Maybe he's a finisher nowadays.
Yeah.
Jan, do we completely changing the subject. Is Reece James definitely injured?
Yeah, there's been loads on the chat about that. Thanks for reminding us, Tobes. I wanted to get to that. He trained on Thursday. I think even possibly on Friday. He was pictured in the training photos. And then it was an exclusive by Simon Johnson of The Athletic, I think it was, saying that Reece James has got a major issue. I think it was a knee issue. He's going for a scan today. If he needs surgery, he could be out for a couple of months. However, he's been apparently playing with that knock for a few games. So there is talk that the surgery could be delayed and he'll continue to play on it. So we don't know James is 100% out for Monday night.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, that, isn't it? Obviously, he's in the best hands, I'm sure, in terms of medical professionals. But yeah, I guess Frank would, in an ideal world, say I want to have him for the Christmas period where games are coming thick and fast. Yeah. But is that going to cause him more damage in the long term? I mean, I'm sure they're going to take the right call with him, but be interesting to see. I'm fielding 10 men if James doesn't play this week. That's why I asked.
I'm fielding 9 if he doesn't. So yeah, thank you Lamptey for that. And the need of 3 defenders. Who are my other 2 defenders that don't play? Oh, that's it. I've still got Masuaku and Mitchell. For weeks I've been wanting to make the Masuaku change, but I'm not using a 4-point hit on it. So this week I'm bringing in John Stones or Dyer for Masuaku as my transfer.
Oh, John Stones. Can you handle the Pep rotation frustration of having John Stones in your squad?
I think he started for the last 5 in the Premier League. I do think John Stones is nailed in the Premier League. Look, I'll see what Man City do in the Cup this week. They've got a quarter-final in the EFL. I expect Stones to miss out, and then he's nailed again for the Boxing Day fixtures. Stones and Diaz, to me, and even Cancelo and Walker, that back 4, I think play, and Seb and I have spoken about this before. If they can play 4 in 5, you're happy. And that's the deal with Cancelo. And what we thought earlier in the season with Reece James. If he can be a 4 in 5 man, you have to take it, I think. Leeds are in here. Back stick. Oh no. Okay.
How's that not gone in?
Rafinha, volley. Great save by De Gea. Drops to Bamford, who just foots it against the post, I think. From 2 yards. It's Rafinha with the ball in.
That's a great save, isn't it? And then,
no, I think didn't Rafinha hit it, or was it Rodrigo?
It was Rodrigo with the ball in.
Rodrigo put it into Rafinha. Rodrigo's number 20. Annoyingly, their haircuts are identical. So from behind, you've got very little.
Tell you what, a Leeds goal does make this game very interesting, doesn't it? We've still got a long way to go. We've still got 40 minutes.
The only thing that worries me is do we keep them out for the rest of the half?
No,
probably not.
Like, I think we could easily score 3. Like, Man United haven't looked like stopping us. It's more whether we can convert them. But I would, Rashford on the break, I would fancy him to get 1.
Yeah, also the more the game goes on, the more Leeds are going to push, and the more likely that counter is to happen, I think.
Blue Dot, you're right. And do you know what, Blue Dot? I get this every week on my YouTube team reveals, which you can check out on the Fantasy Football Scout YouTube vid every Wednesday at 1 p.m. No, Gianni, don't get Stones. You've only got 3 defenders for half your game weeks this season, including this week. Look, I'm getting Stones, but I'm also going to be spending another transfer on a 5th defender. So Stones will be one of 4 that play, or maybe even 5 that will be in the running, and I'll always play the back 3. So I am going to go for it, mate.
Just to play devil's advocate there. So why would you not go Dyer ahead of Stones, who Dyer we know is going to play 90 minutes of every single game that he's fit? Spurs, best defence in the league up until today, probably. Why not Dyer?
Sorry, I should have explained myself there. Next 2 weeks, I'm going 2 defensive transfers. I just want Stones in ahead of Newcastle because I think Dyer has a high chance of conceding to Wolves. But Dyer is definitely coming in. I think I go Stones first.
Leeds with another chance there. Ball dinked into the box. Didn't quite get on the end of it, Bamford. But yeah.
Dan James acceleration coming out. Watch this, guys. He's just running with the ball for fun. It's a pen.
That could. Was he dived? He's gone straight to his pocket.
It is a dive. It would have been. It looked soft at the time.
He is Tom Daly in appearance and diving.
He's not complaining either. He looks a little bit embarrassed. Yeah, it's one of those, I think.
I thought pen when I first saw it. Oh, you've seen him given.
No, I'm happy. I'm happy he's got the book in there, but Cooper's got his arm across him. I think it starts outside the area. I don't think it would be a pen either way.
It's at Old Trafford.
He's maybe harsh to get booked.
But also, to that point, Seb, didn't we see the other week a foul Southampton in the Southampton game where Kyle Walker-Peters was fouled outside the box, but because it continued into the box, the penalty was given after a big VAR review. It was against Brighton.
Is that I thought it was where it started.
I think the rule is changed. If the foul continues into the box, I think someone in the chat can probably confirm that. To go back to that. In hindsight, I do think James is probably a little bit unlucky to get booked for that. I don't think it was a penalty, but I don't think it was a dive.
The thing is, you say that, Tobes. We say this a lot. If it's not a pen, it has to be a dive, right?
Oh, I don't agree. So you would say
because the pace you're running at.
The yellow is deliberately trying to deceive the ref, right?
Yeah.
There's probably a difference between deliberately trying to deceive the ref and going down under contact. Yeah. Say like an arm across the chest or a shoulder. If the Aurier penalty hadn't been given earlier, would you have booked the player he shoved? Probably not. He got a push. You just deem it not enough.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with that. Players will go down under pressure, but there not be enough in it for it to be a penalty, but equally not to be a booking. I do think that is a thing, and probably a good example there. I think James is unlucky to get a booking.
Yeah, No, fair. I don't necessarily mean with every penalty appeal, but yeah, with certain types of is that Rashford? Rashford's got a bit of time and space in the box. He could have gone down for a penalty there. He didn't. Stays on his foot, tees up Bruno, who shoots like Bruno always does.
An interesting thing, isn't it? Jan and I were talking, I think, just before we came on air about players in the Premier League, in all leagues, get hammered, don't they, for going down too easily. Certain players always get chastised for it. But there was an incident, wasn't there, in the Spurs-Leicester game today where Kane got a big shove in the box, didn't go down. And I think even the commentator kind of said, VAR don't tend to look at it unless somebody's gone down, which to me is ludicrous. You shouldn't need a player to go down in order to consider it a foul or not a foul. It should be checked either way. But I think it's right to an extent. If a player doesn't hit the floor, VAR or the referee kind of goes, he hasn't gone down, so it can't really be a foul. And so I do get why players, go down easily, whether you call it diving or going down easily.
I should score.
I take it a step further. I think we've spoken about this before. It is a professional player's responsibility to win a match, and to do that in any way possible within the laws of the game. It's on the referees to stop diving, not the players. If they think, no touch anywhere near and throwing yourself down because you were anticipating one, a bit naughty, you get yellow card and, you hang your head. But if I get touched, I go down, I earn that penalty, I show the ref I've been fouled. That is literally my job. If I don't, I'm not doing my job.
It's a little bit, do you know what it reminds me of? And apologies to talk cricket on a football pod, but it's a bit like the debate between when a batsman nicks the ball and doesn't walk, the view being it's the umpire, who am I to say the umpire's right or wrong? I'm there to try and win a game of cricket for my team. If I've hit it and I know I have, some people will say, that's cheating. You've hit it and you've not walked, but it's up to the umpire to give me out. It's kind of a similar thing.
And, we're playing Sunday League in the park. Okay, fair enough. Don't go down. Let's all play fair. But you're being paid millions of pounds to win a football match. You go down.
With video technology as well. There's enough for the refs to get it right that it's on them, not you.
I reckon that's a generational opinion. It's an opinion I agree with, but I reckon if you were to ask my dad, he'd go, "No, diving, it's cheating, and it's all this and it's that." And I reckon that's a generational
Bruno
thing.
with the shot out for a corner. Carry on, Tobes.
Well, no, that's it really. I reckon people older football fans, I reckon generally will not be of that opinion, but I reckon people probably under the age of 35, 40 who have probably grown up with more technology in the game maybe have the opinion that Seb has just put forward, which I think I do as well.
Doesn't mean I don't think it should be removed from the game, but it's not on the players to do that.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Yeah.
Guys, bonus points, by the way, because we had a question in the chat. What are the bonus points? McTominay's on for 3, Bruno on for 2, Martial for 1. Bruno's going to get bonus, guys.
How far ahead is McTominay ahead of Bruno?
7. So he needs another attack in return or a couple of big chances to created.
Yeah.
He could do that. So
he could do that.
Let me give you some side-by-side stats. Possession, 40-60. Total shots, 14-10. On target, 5-2. Shots inside the box, 9 versus 8. Big chances, 2 each. Big chances missed, 0-2. Hit woodwork, 0 and 1. Based on that, maybe one side is edging it, but it's close. The difference here has been quality of finishing.
Clinical.
Yeah.
Yeah, if somebody read those stats to you and then said, "What's the score in this match?" Not many people would probably go 4-1 to the home team, right?
For sure. Doesn't mean United don't deserve this. I'm not trying to wriggle out of that. We're watching it. I think that's clear. But Leeds have done what they usually do, and on another day, this is 1-1 with missed chances on both sides.
We all obviously have Bruno, and he's owned by around 40%, I think. Should we, because they are starting to score goals now, we saw him score 3 against Sheffield United, we saw him miss a huge amount of chances against Sheffield United, and again today. Martial, Rashford, they're probably the only 2 because, Greenwood's not a regular start or a nailed starter, same as Pog. Should we be considering a Rashford or a Martial?
I would personally, possibly, I think is the answer to that. I'm certainly more for it than I was maybe 3 or 4 game weeks ago. I'd probably, based purely on eye test, be looking more at Rashford, I think, than Martial. Even though Martial is kind of playing through the middle, I think Rashford has been looking a bit more dangerous. I don't know whether the stats back that up.
Yeah, his XGI has been higher than Bruno's.
Yeah. And price difference. Rashford a little bit cheaper than Martial?
No, a bit more expensive. 9.5 for Rash, or was at the start of the season, and I think Martial was 9.
Yeah, I think Cavani is a threat to Martial as well, not Rashford.
Yeah. Rashford's nailed, isn't he? Like, doesn't matter who's fit, Rashford is playing. If he's not on the left, there's a chance even he plays as the 9. The only problem with that, Tobes, competition for places. Midfield in FPL this season, as you know, you've had to take Grealish out this week, which you didn't want to do, but you just can't have. There's just not enough spots available. Getting Rashford into that midfield would be tough.
Yeah, I mean, looking at my midfield now, my midfield is Salah, De Bruyne, Fernandes, Son, and an enabler, Burke. None of those 4 premiums do I want to get rid of. Do I have any intention of getting rid of? And therefore, me personally, I'm not kind of looking to shift around players to get. I don't want Rashford enough to go. I've got to get Bruno out and bring Rashford in. Blah 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 blah.
Dan James with time and space finds Rashford at the edge of the box. McTominay! Oh, McTominay for a hat trick would have been something.
I really thought that sat up, didn't it? It looked like just nod it down and in.
Luke Ayling, fair play, because he's a lot shorter than McTominay. He wins the header there.
McTominay is getting into some position. He's an absolute race.
How much is he in FPL?
4.9.
I know you're kidding, but you're not. Oh, Alex Tellez on for Luke Shaw here.
Oh, Luke Shaw came off at 59 on my clock.
Yeah, but that's still the 60th minute, isn't it? The minute it goes to like 59,
okay.
you're in the 60th minute. So
and also he didn't get a clean sheet anyway.
Yeah, true. we're really clutching at straws here, aren't we?
I think what we're seeing here, which is maybe explained by McTominay finding those continuous chances, is Leeds are playing 1 DM, we man mark, maybe one of the reasons Phillips taken off. If United have got those runners, which we know they've got, 2 of which maybe are coming central, we can't track them all quick enough.
There's goals left in this half. Yes, Leeds might get 1, but United are going to get 2. Like, it's half an hour left. The amount of chances United are having in the second half.
Yeah, I think to come back to the kind of Martial-Rashford argument again, if you just turn this game on and you've got Martial in your team and you see United have scored 4 and you've got United's number 9, you'd be rubbing your hands going, I've got a double-digit return here. But you haven't, have you? So Martial, one assist?
No, I think he's got 2.
He's got two assists.
Okay, maybe I'm doing a little bit of a disservice then. But even so, I don't know. Maybe are you a bit disappointed with 2 assists when you know they've scored 4 when you got the team's number 9? I think maybe I might be.
Yeah, but Rashford, they've scored 4, and I know he's playing on the left as I thought, but Rashford hasn't got any returns today.
Yeah, true.
So Rashford's on 2 points, and Martial is on double digits. No, 6, 7, 8. He's on 9 with his bonus. Yeah.
But by definition, your DM has scored half the goals. You're going to struggle to see all the attackers get returns.
I'll tell you what, Bamford's got an arm in the face there in the box. Could this be a little VAR pen?
Was that Bamford, Tobes?
Yeah, he went down holding his face. I've got a feeling there's probably absolutely nothing in it, and it was just a sort of flailing arm. But I imagine it will be looked at, I suppose.
Was anyone appealing?
They've kicked the ball out, Leeds.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see a replay of it here. He's obviously got a whack, but I don't know whether there was any malice in it. We'll find out now.
Oh, it's old Maguire.
Maguire.
That's fine. Hands on the back of the neck. Somehow he's clutching his eyes.
It's just a sort of one of those where you jump and again though, like this season, it's one of those.
Benteke. Benteke got 2 yellows the other day, both for jumping with his arms, and he was sent off. There's no consistency.
Like, you see that sort of thing, like when a striker's holding the ball up, and like that gets given as a foul all day long, even though it's totally unintentional. It's like, oh, you can't, but you see it all the time, don't you? Player jumps. But yeah, it's not a penalty.
It's not, and Benteke's neither were a yellow, and he was still sent off. Benteke's watching that, going, "That's just not right." But yeah, with VAR, these things should stop, but unfortunately not. Guys in the chat, we've been neglecting you a little bit. Apparently, someone has said Bruno on for 3 bonus. Kevs, you've rightly pointed out he's not. I think he's still about 7 behind McTominay. But interesting one to watch. What points is Bruno on then? He's got a goal and an assist, doesn't he? So he's on 5, 6, 7, 8. He's on 10, and then plus bonus. So he's going to get a 12 or a 13 as it currently stands. Not bad.
I think you'd expect him maybe to catch that bonus up as well, because if McTominay, as I understand it, the game-winning goal is added instantly now as well.
Yeah, and who got the second?
Bruno. Scott McTominay got 1 and 2.
Oh, of course he did, yeah.
So Scott McTominay's already got the game-winning goal. Of the 2, who's more likely to rack up more shots on target, more chances created? I think Bruno could edge him.
The only thing we might encounter, which we mentioned in the first half, is they've still got that 3-goal cushion. Is Bruno going to get hooked in 10 minutes' time? I think there's probably a reasonable chance he does if it stays at 4-1.
True.
Yeah, I mean, check out United's fixtures, but I'm pretty sure they play the EFL on. They play Christmas Eve, and then they've got another Premier League game on. Let me have a look. Let me get this.
Boxing Day?
So they're playing in the early kickoff on Boxing Day, and they're playing on I think it must be the 23rd, their EFL Cup. So they've got another 2 matches in the next 6 days.
Well, Leeds are in here, down to the byline. Ball dinked in. Good header away by Tellez. It's still. Oh, it's a good save by De Gea at the near post. Rafinha with a good shot from outside the box.
I missed that one.
I'm on 64-15.
Oh, same as me. Okay, I just wasn't.
Unless I completely
I'm
just
seeing a replay.
Up.
Oh,
Yeah.
good save. Going wide, is it?
Going wide, I'd say, yeah, but you make sure. It's a nice hit.
Seb, you might have some insight into this. Who are the actual, when Opta gather their stats, they've obviously got to make a judgment call. When a ball is, no, that's maybe not a good example, but a ball is blocked from a shot from 25 yards. Who is it that definitively goes, that was on target, that wasn't on target?
So I kind of the whole iStats versus iStats. Oh, there you go. Eye test versus stats thing is a bit of a bugbear of mine. Would love to talk about it one day, but to answer the question, someone watches the match and makes a call. So things like big chances, that is someone saying, "Oh, that's a big chance" or "not a big chance." So it's kind of subjective.
Oh,
anyway.
United are in here. It's Dan James off the back of a McTominay pass through the keeper's legs. 5-1. McTominay, 2 goals, 1 assist. I think it was McTominay. Dan James with the finish. Dan James getting a rare run out.
That's going to help
nicely against the team he was linked with.
Probably going to help secure McTominay's 3 bonus points as well, right?
Yeah, we definitely need another Bruno attack in return to get 3. It is McTominay, and it's really well played. He kind of takes on one, puts it on his right foot, and just finds Dan James, who Luke Ayling sells himself a bit short.
Yeah, he does. Luke Ayling.
Luke Ayling's a brilliant right back. Every time I watch him at centre back, I feel like I just put a player centre back there.
That really looked like a player playing at centre back that isn't used to playing at centre back.
I rate Meslier massively, but he should not get beaten there.
It's through his legs, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. They do say
it's not
aim at the legs, but yeah.
It's not a spectacular finish. Maybe he's just, like you say, gone hard low aim at legs, but it's on his left foot. It's not a great finish.
Yeah, you'd think 75% of the Premier League keepers save that comfortably. Jordan Pickford definitely doesn't.
What's the XG on it? It's probably below 0.6. So, just to jump back to what you were saying there, Tobes. It's obviously judged by someone who's very smart and knows what they're doing. They then review it afterwards as well. There's, as I understand it, there's effectively like a primary and then I guess a supervisor on each match, and someone will watch the match and rack up all the stats, and then afterwards people go around afterwards and check those. So you'll often see, say for example, Bruno Fernandes had 3 big chances created today. Mm-hmm. You might see that a couple of hours later change to 2 or 5 because they'll review them afterwards and make sure it's all about correct.
Will that also be the people that are doing that under normal circumstances without COVID? Will they typically be at the game or will they be watching it on television?
As I understand it, and this is educated guess rather than knowing for sure, I'm guessing they're able to do it from home now, and I think they have been in the past because, for example, you could be doing the Chelsea match and then a match in Japan later.
Yeah.
But I believe there are offices which they go to and have, all the setup for them, all the TV, all the connections and all that sort of stuff. And if you think about it as well, this is the bit I'm not sure on, but if you think about it, it can't just be pen and paper because if you're noting down completed passes, shots, all that sort of stuff, you need an input system.
Guys, there's more drama here. There's more drama. Rashford with the ball on the kind of edge of the box on the angle, goes to shoot. He goes down. No, Martial goes down.
Martial goes down.
Very soft penalty.
Rashford has sold our whole defence there.
Has he given the penalty?
Have they given that?
Given the penalty, but that's surely going to get checked, isn't it?
It looked like he went down. It looked like he went down sort of too long after the tackle went in.
No, it is probably a pen. It's really smart from Martial. He sees the foul coming, so he dinks it.
It's a pen.
And it catches the standing leg of Struijk, who...
He's earned it. Striker's been sold there. That's a pen.
So Bruno's going to take this, you would assume.
Bruno Fernandes captain us. Fair play.
No, not fair play, Seb. No. I can't. Oh, it is Bruno. Of course.
It's still good for you. It's still good for you, Jam, with the effective ownership. You want these points.
Wait, Bruno Fernandes misses it, yeah? That's what we're...
Oh, is he?
No, I'm not saying, but that's what we're going for, yeah?
Oh, right.
Bruno,
Okay, yeah.
Bruno Fernandes misses it?
If Bruno scores, he
His
guarantees
record,
3 bonus.
weirdly, yeah, his record, his unofficially, his record hasn't been that good. He's missed a couple that have been retaken, hasn't he, in recent times?
Yeah.
Not that counts, but yeah, a miss is a miss, I suppose.
So this season he's scored 4, missed 1, I think.
Where does he go? Does he do the hop, do you reckon?
Yeah.
Here we go. He's running up now.
Goal.
Oh, yeah, keeping it move.
Fair play on Melier because he often goes down the middle and he actually stood in the middle. But
Well, does he though? Because that graphic they just brought up, not one of them was down the middle. They were all either to the right or to the left.
Okay.
I mean, presumably the point of the hop is to see what the goalkeeper does. The goalkeeper's gone right, he puts it left.
Yeah. Eyes aren't on the ball, eyes are on the goalkeeper. Oh, it's a stupid penalty to concede, Leeds. What are you doing?
Strout could have given away 2 there as well. If you've got it now, just on Rashford almost does the same thing to him.
I still reckon, and I'll probably get hammered for this, I reckon that's soft, that penalty. That I don't think it's like a massive penalty. If that's not given, I don't think you're that annoyed as a team that haven't been given it.
It's
I don't know.
Martial has obviously played for it, but again, it's like what we were saying earlier. It's not on the players not to play for those sort of fouls. No. Salah's very good at that. Sterling's very good at it. Martial's just showing the same thing. He's played him, hasn't he?
Yeah, Cooper down here, not looking in a good way at all as well, which is a bit concerning for a Leeds fan.
We don't need centre backs. It's fine.
Oh, making some changes here. I can see Cavani and Bruno is almost certainly coming off. Cavani and Van der Beek on.
Yeah, Bruno's off.
Bruno and Martial, I think maybe.
I mean, you can't complain with that. Was it 2 goals and an assist?
And 3 bonus.
I have a midfielder that scored 15 points, and I'm unhappy.
Me too. I've got 2 in Salah and Bruno, and I'm unhappy. Yeah, you're the same, Seb. Yeah.
I think I'm 500k. I reckon, or 571. I reckon I still climb a little, but it's the. I won't lie. It's hard to be objective this week. It's the added fact that, not captaining Bruno can take. Leeds losing can take. Those 2 things combining, it hurts a little bit. Certainly smarts.
There's a guy I've never heard of coming on for Leeds, Leif Davis.
Oh yeah,
left back / centre back.
He looks like Brandon Williams at United. Yeah.
He's got the exact same haircut as our entire academy. They're a nightmare to tell apart on under 23 nights when him, Shackleton, and everyone else is playing.
The bonus has been updated, and McTominay is actually still on for 3. He's on 63 versus Bruno on 61, and Bruno's now can't tick up, and McTominay's can. So
what do you need? Yellow card, couple of shots off target, something like that?
Yeah, a couple of offsides and shots off targets. Yeah, I mean, yeah, and then Martial's 37 on 3. So Bruno's very likely to go home with just a 2 bonus. But still, it's a massive, massive haul. It's 17 points, which is the same as Salah, I think.
No, Salah got 16 points.
Okay.
Yeah. McTominay's laying another one here. If Martial scores,
good save, Melier, with his legs.
Should have scored. Yeah,
was a good save. I think Martial's possibly hit quite a weak finish there, hasn't he? Maybe he's gambled on the keeper going down.
Is he good enough?
Anthony Martial?
United's number 9. Is he good enough in front of goal to win them Premier Leagues, to win them Champions Leagues? Ollie doesn't seem convinced.
Probably not, I think is the short answer. I think Cavani is, but Cavani isn't going to be able to play 2-3 games in a week consistently and is obviously at the back end of his career. I think, one of the key things for United returning to being a real title challenger will be them investing in a big number 9 that scores 25, 30 goals a year. And I don't think that's Martial.
Yeah. Lukaku.
Yeah, get him back. Tell you what, Dallas is...
Leeds are in here, and it is Dallas with a shot and a goal.
Oh, get in there! Stewie Dallas.
I can't.
Hey, he's FPL royalty. You've got to bring him in.
I am not celebrating a Leeds goal for the first time ever.
That is class. That is absolute... What a goal as well, to be fair.
That's a great finish.
Who's got the assist, Rodrigo?
I think it's... I can't see
from
this
distance. That is a great goal.
De Gea's got a hand to it, has he?
Yeah. Got a finger on it.
That's a great finish.
Can we keep ignoring Dallas? He's banging him in.
Yes, because Leeds concede 6 every week.
Yeah, true.
Um,
Dallas is going to rise in price heavily over the next couple of weeks, I reckon, because I think Leeds have got a couple of nice.
it's not a Bamford assist, guys, in the chat. Sorry, we'll confirm it. But it was either Rodrigo or Rafinha. I think. Are they even both on? I don't know.
Yeah, we've got Burnley and West Brom. If you want Eiling or Dallas, Dallas is certainly the choice and has been for a while now, seeing as Eiling has been consigned to right back. Centre back.
But
Yeah, I literally just as that before that went in, Jen, I was about to go, oh, you weren't joking about Dallas getting minus points, and he popped one in the top bin. Unreal.
so what's Dallas on? Because he's on -3 for goals conceded.
He's on 5 points currently,
It's not bad, is it?
which isn't bad for a bloke who's conceded 6 goals as
Yeah.
a defender. Yeah, you take that all day long, especially given my other 2 defenders are Lamptey and Reece James, who probably aren't going to play.
Rafinha with 2 assists is all right.
Rafinha with 2 assists. Yeah, going to be on 8 points.
Yeah.
As a reminder, it is 6-2 to United after 74 minutes. Bruno, who many of you have captained, is going to go home with 16, 17 points. He's off the pitch. The goals came from a double from McTominay, double from Bruno, James and Lindelof, and it was Dallas and Cooper, 2 Leeds defenders with the Leeds goals and 2 assists by Rafinha.
Good old Dallas. Dallas is probably, I don't know, what's his ownership? I always feel like Dallas is highly owned.
No,
He's not,
in the
is he?
community, he's probably at 8%, 10%.
Yeah, 8.2.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, I'm good. I'm good at something. Jesus, I'm not good at getting points in FPL, but I can tell you percentages, prices, likelihood of playing. I can name you all the 11s, the shirt numbers.
Just
Can
can't
I
pick a
get out
captain.
of 3 million overall rank? Not a chance.
It's just been your captains, isn't it? You've had bad luck mixed with a couple of dodgy decisions this year and captaincy picks, and it's killed you a little bit, right?
It's not killed me a little bit, Tobes. It's killed me a lot.
Where are you now?
It's 2 high 2s, 2.8, 2.9, I don't know. I mean, I'd like to think my rank increases a little bit off the Bruno haul, but probably not because the captainers.
You can pull that up a lot over the next few weeks, though. Christmas time is often one of those where people who are switched on can make up some points, especially with a double coming straight afterwards.
I said that a month ago with so many game weeks we've had recently, and it's not. Yeah, my problem was overcommitting to City so early, and then also the poor captaincy. Like, again, who this week has captained someone that hasn't returned? All the big captaincies, Salah, KDB, Bruno have returned. Yes, Harry Kane, a few did, but it's just like every time there's a blank. I don't think I've had my best point scorer as my captain yet this season in a game week. That's rough.
Yeah, that is rough.
Oof.
How,
Nearly another.
Yeah.
Oh, was that Rodrigo?
There's a few have gone down here. There's a couple of like just
Get
half
the
a league
stretcher out.
lying on the floor. Yeah. Does he give it?
Is that a pen?
He hasn't given a penalty, is he? Or has he?
I have no idea.
Strike is down, or is it Struck? How do you?
Yeah.
Stroke.
Strauk.
There we go. What's happened?
No, it's not a pen, is it?
No, I think he's taking a hit, isn't he?
And
What about
But
the
then
second one?
Bamford rolls his ankle, I think.
Oh, I don't know.
Scott McTominay coming back across
Yeah.
him. I mean, maybe I'm reaching there, but it's actually,
Yeah.
Oh, Van der Beek behind Bamford as he's
Well,
about to
you've seen-
shoot. That's got to
you've
be
seen him-
given.
Yeah, you've seen him given.
Not a chance. Corner comes in, cleared by United.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to see if VR are looking at that because it doesn't seem like they are.
No.
it's gone on. We've had another corner, so I think that's probably done now, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I think Bamford's okay though. For anyone that was worried about his ankle, he's up and running around. So yeah, I think he's okay. Typical. The first week I bring Bamford, any blanks?
I mean,
My luck this year, honestly.
don't even. The guy.
Where are you now,
The
Tobes?
guy that didn't see the Salah team news, so kept the armband on him. How you doing, Tobes?
Looking at my live FPL, 135k. Leeds are in there, I thought. 135k. Obviously, that Dallas goal has helped a little bit. So yeah, I was, I think, 200k coming into this game week. So as it stands, maybe a smallish green arrow.
Yeah, decent. I think looking back on my season, I've been keeping a track of it. Maybe similar to Gianni, just not quite in the same magnitude. Just some decisions that back at the time made them for reasonable reasons. But looking back on them, there's been a few too many where you go, that's just not gone the right way, and not always just because of luck. Maybe sometimes there are things I've not taken into account, or I mean, very, very early in the season, I had that planned. Man City and Man United didn't play. I brought Martial in. I had Vardy for the first week, dropped Vardy for Martial, which is fine. I got some very lucky Vardy points, but then stuck with Martial for a little bit too long and have missed Vardy points since as well. I've had him a couple of times. I think I've probably tried to fix things that weren't broken more often than not. And in doing so, maybe I've made okay decisions, but actually just by chilling on stuff that I had, I possibly bring in the same or more points.
I think that the trying to fix things that aren't broken, I think, is the biggest problem that good FPL players have. I think it's very difficult to be inert sometimes. Like inertia feels like you're going backwards or you're not doing something you should do. And yeah, I think particularly for good FPL managers, that's often the way. It's very tempting to not, if you've got 2 free transfers and you don't need to use them, how likely is it that you're going to burn one? It feels like a waste. And even though, you then maybe don't look at the situation objectively, and you try and play around with it a bit, you overplay a little bit. And yeah, more often than not, probably that ends up costing managers. I think that's a real key issue. And probably, Jan, I think for you this year has killed you where you've overplayed it a little bit.
Leeds in. Is there something there? Not quite. Came down in the left, probably falls short a bit of Bamford, and Harrison puts it. Was it off Maguire, did you say? I thought it was over. Was it corner? Oh, cool.
It's again, like it's so end to end, and it's so many big chance. Like these are big chances being created as well. They're not just little half chance pot shots. They're United defensively getting opened up, Leeds defensively getting opened up. It's amazing.
There's so many chances. One thing I would say is the whole FPL managers feeling unlucky is something that there isn't an FPL manager out there that doesn't feel like he's been robbed every single week on something. So I genuinely believe that over 38 game weeks, luck balances itself out. So if you have had an exceptionally really, really hard time, then it will balance out. I do think that. So yeah, keep going if you have done like me and Captain Kane when everyone else.
Luke Ayling puts a header over the top. That would have been nice.
It was another reasonable. You can see De Gea going absolutely mad at his centre backs because it's another chance where you'd expect him to hit the target there at least probably and test him.
How many games have we got to go this game week? I'm trying to think of the big players still to play because it feels like we've had everyone and of course we haven't.
Aston Villa, Grealish and Watkins and Martinez. And then Chelsea versus West Ham probably has a few people in as well.
West Ham Villa tonight as well, isn't it? We've got one more to go tonight. I didn't realise that.
Team news on that?
Not out for another 4 minutes. It's a 7:15 kickoff.
7:15 kickoff. Yeah. Keep us up to date on that, Tobes.
Yeah, we've got probably 12, 13, 14 minutes left here. There's only one thing I want. 8-2. Can't happen. It can't happen. I will lose 9-2 over 8-2.
Brilliant.
Love that.
We might see it. I mean, Maguire going on one of his runs.
That just sums up this game, doesn't it? Maguire marauding forward through the Leeds back line. Amazing.
If I had to take this back to possibly the one thing that Leeds fans will come back to after this week is we've needed a centre-back. I mean, admittedly, we signed 2 in Diego Llorente and Robin Koch, and they're now both injured. We've needed a centre-back for 2 seasons, just for depth, if nothing else. Even though we signed 2 in the summer, I'm not saying that's the only reason we're losing tonight, but once again, having Liam Cooper and Luke Ayling, so a championship centre-back and a not centre-back, it's really hurting us.
It is, Seb, but if you go and buy another centre-back...
Oh, I don't think we will.
Because you've got Koch who plays for Germany, you've got Llorente who plays for Spain. You've got 2 brilliant centre backs that just haven't been fit. It's unlucky, isn't it?
Possibly in the Championship when we had neither of them and also had not signed a centre back. I think there were legitimate reasons to say we possibly should have signed one. But yeah, we've signed 2 who have either been, I think Robin Koch's injury might have been maybe similar to Reece James, something that was long standard that they opted to have surgery on. And Diego Llorente, when he was signed, was injured quite early on and is now injured again.
Yeah.
So yeah, quite possibly. But if this is what we get with Bielsa, we've always wanted a centre back. Now that we have them, they're injured. I'll take losing 6-2 to Man United and not quite having enough centre-backs if it means I get Bielsa, because everything else has gone our way.
Yeah. Ishmael says, is James confirmed out? No, there is a chance Reece James plays, guys. James has said he has Kane, Salah and Bruno, and of course he captained Kane. I have those three as well as KDB and also captain Kane. Don't worry, mate, it will swing round for you.
Why captain Kane at Leicester?
I've not been impressed by Leicester's defence at all. But indeed, he's not a centre-back. Wasn't a centre-back today. Evans came back. They went with the back five and they looked good.
Kane does have a very
Cavani, good save. Rebound falls to James, who scuffs it. Can't hit a ball clean, Dan James, can he?
Kane does have a very good record against Leicester, to be fair.
14 in 10, I think it is, or something. Or was it 10 in 7? It was something ridiculous. But
we were just talking about decisions. I feel like, and I admit, Salah likewise didn't consider him.
I was never going to go Salah. I was always going Bruno. And I picked Bruno. I bought Bruno into my team so I can captain him against Leeds. And I didn't do it.
So yeah, you talked about decisions. Why was that to be different? Just psyching yourself out? Did you see something in the stats that you fancied?
No, I saw something in watching Spurs against Liverpool, and then I watched Bruno against Sheffield United. So I watched those two games, and when I'm now not captaining Bruno, I'm captaining Kane, because I saw Bruno against Sheffield United playing in the midfield with Pogba, where Pogba and Bruno were almost taking it in turns to go forward. And then I saw Kane miss a couple of big chances against Liverpool. And after Mourinho came out and said we were the better team, Tellez goes close there, Meslier saves. And I just thought Mourinho's going to have this team so fired up, going, we went to Anfield, we lost, but we were the better team. We're still in the title race. Leicester are coming, who've just lost to Everton 2-0, and Everton could have had more. They were poor at the back against Everton. And I just felt like it'd be one of those weeks. But yeah,
Spurs were uncharacteristically bad today as well, to be fair. They were really poor, unexpectedly poor, I think. Just to say, we've got team news now from Villa. It's as you would expect. I think they're unchanged from last week. Martinez. Sorry, there's a good chance there for Maguire. Target plays. So Martinez, Cash, Mings, House and Target. Then El Ghazi, McGinn.
Oh, they're in. Somehow that stayed out.
Meslier has made a lot of saves, isn't he?
Martial with a terrible finish again, or was it Fred?
I think it's Fred. Yeah, it's Fred.
So go on, Tobes. You said the keeper, who's in the midfield?
Back? No, Barkley is not even on the bench. So El Ghazi, McGinn, Louise, Grealish, Traore and Watkins.
El Ghazi has to score today. Missed so many big chances.
West Brom, not that anyone's going to be too interested from an FPL point of view, but Johnston, Furlong, Ajayi, O'Shea, Gibbs, Livermore, Gallagher, Sawyers, Phillips, Diangana and Grant.
That's the same 11 in Big Sam's last game, I think. Sorry, in Bilic's last game.
Is this Big Sam's first game? Is he in charge as of tonight?
Yeah, he's only had about a day of training.
You could see him. It's got clean sheet written all over it, hasn't it, for West Brom?
It's a derby as well. Big first game for him to go to Villa Park as a West Brom manager.
Maybe why they sacked Bilic just before the derby. They probably thought good timing, get Big Sam in for the derby. Good atmosphere. There's not going to be anyone in the ground, but do you know what I mean? It's maybe they chose that fixture, even though I think it's a pretty heinous decision to sack Bilic.
Guys, got a question for you. Randy has asked, Reece James replacement, and this is if Reece James does go have surgery and is out, and we'll all be doing it. Who'd you go for, Seb? You got 5.2 to spend or whatever he is.
Oh, I was gonna say Ben Chilwell, but the 5.2. I mean, Ben Chilwell obviously being the easy swap. If you fancied Chelsea, you still fancy them with James out probably. But Chilwell is up at 6.2, isn't he? So we've got to find someone cheaper. Let's have a little look.
And also on that note, I would also put Castagna forward, he returned to Leicester today, but I think he's up over 6 million. So is probably he? Not a like. Yeah, he's expensive. Yeah, I think because he had a really good start to the year, didn't he? And I think he went up a fair bit. I don't know exactly how much he is, but
5.7 here.
5.7. Okay. Pereira's more.
Yeah.
Who's still not back, Pereira. He played in the Europa League. He's been training, but he's still not made Premier League squad, I don't think.
Maybe you take this opportunity to put some cash back in the balance. Walker Peters at 4.7, Justin down at 4.9. Just talked about Castagna if you fancy that.
Cancelo.
John Stones, naturally. Dallas has scored tonight. I mean, Kufal has been very popular at West Ham. Taylor as well.
Burnley
I don't know if there's. Oh, sorry, go on.
No, sorry, Seb. I interrupted you.
I was just going to say I don't know if there's a direct replacement, so I'd be tempted to stick 0.5 in the bank, go for one of the cheaper options, maybe make the choice depending on what you're going to do in 18-19, and have that 0.5 to use.
What about Lindelof? He's conceded 2 to Sheffield United, 2 to Leeds. There's people in the chat recommending Lindelof. Tobes?
No, not for me. I think there are better, cheaper options. I actually don't think Burnley are a bad shout to be looking at now. They seem to have tightened up a little bit defensively. They've actually got a good run. The only thing against it is they are blanking in 18. But yeah, the next 4 fixtures, they play Wolves, Leeds, Sheffield United and Fulham, and 3 of those are at home. So you'd actually back Burnley to keep a couple of clean sheets in that.
Harrison, what are you doing? You got to score.
Oh, I've missed that.
Oh, he really has to score. I don't know who would have got the assist. Probably Rafinha.
It's come from the right number 18, who's Rafinha.
Oh, Bamford. No, Rodrigo.
Possibly Rodrigo, unless Bamford touches that.
He's got to score that.
You say he got to score
on his left foot. He's left
with going for the angle with a defender in the way. When you say got to score, you mean XG 0.5 or higher, right? 50-50.
I'd put 0.5 on that.
That's going to be lower.
If that's Chelsea, that's 0.5 or above.
If that's Chelsea. So that's the thing, though, right? You are going to forget about that chance by the time this game is over.
Yeah.
Apart from now, we've talked about it. You remember when it's scored from those angles? More goals aren't scored than are scored. You forget. Oh, Cavani, weak shot. You forget all of those ones from those angles that are just put wide or put into the goalkeeper's arms or blocked by that defender that was in the way. That's where the XG catches you out. You only remember the good finishes from those angles.
Question, Seb, on XG, if it's 0-0 and he gets that chance, is it the exact same XG as if it's 6-2? Because at 6-2, when you've lost a game, you just hit it and you score. But at 0-0, yeah, okay, the XG for me should be lower.
I feel like you're maybe asking a different question. XG, there's a load of different models, so it takes into account goalkeeper positioning, defensive positioning, type of shot, type of chance created to how it's come to the player, so on and so forth. What it's not going to take into account, obviously, is the current scoreline. I don't think it takes into account, the time on the clock, because realistically, in isolation, that should make no difference. If you're going to start talking, obviously, this would only matter if it was on target, talking about something like post-shot XG, which is once the shot has been taken, what is then the chance of it going in, which is a decent measure of goalkeepers. Obviously, that typically has to be on target, because if it's wide, it's never going in. Maybe that's more what you're thinking. But in terms of, is Harrison under pressure? Is he not? Is he tired or whatever? Those aren't taken into account.
I didn't realise that.
Post-shot XG was a thing. I did not know that was a metric. Interesting.
Yeah, so obviously, effectively, XG is measuring how good was the chance in the location it was taken, with the factors of how the ball arrived, what's in front of me, stuff like that. Yeah. Post-shot XG being, I've now hit the shot.
Yeah.
Depending on where I hit it on the goal, and obviously it has to be on target, how likely is it to then turn into a goal? And that's quite a good measure of goalkeeper ability. Obviously, there are flaws there as well.
I've got a question for you both. I have Watkins in my team, who of course is playing West Brom tonight. Watkins last 4, he's gone 2 points, no points, 2 points, 1 point. If he blanks again tonight, I will be looking to ship him out. I might even be looking to ship him out if he doesn't blank. Who do you bring in for Watkins? I've already got Bamford, and I have already got Calvert-Lewin.
Definitely not Callum Wilson.
No, well, his fixtures are horrible, aren't they?
If he's fit, Antonio, but you've probably got to wait. Have a look at Danny Welbeck.
Shay Adams.
Did they blank? What are you looking for in the blanks? That probably dictates it. They do blank, so you've got Fulham, West Ham, and Liverpool, which is decent. No Danny Ings. Maybe he was injured, wasn't he? How's he doing?
He did come off. Yeah, I don't know what.
Went off at half time, didn't he? And he was rushed back, so don't be surprised if he's out. I think Shay Adams is a good shout. Welbeck. I don't know. Welbeck's just sick note, isn't he? He was fit today, but I think Potter said he can't play twice in a week.
Yeah, Brighton also are just so toothless. I know he scored again today, but they really struggled to get a goal against 10-man Sheffield United for 85 minutes. And, if you can't break down Sheffield United with 10 men, then what hope have you got this season? I do fear for Brighton a little bit now.
Yeah, fair shout. So, yeah, I mean...
It's all on your chip strategy, isn't it?
Yeah, depending on chips, Shay Adams.
Yeah.
Shay Adams has got 2 good fixtures in the double as well, hasn't he?
I mean, this is all academic because Watkins is going to score 5 tonight, and I'm going to be keeping him. So
with those fixtures though, the Villa have got a tricky run after tonight. Is it after tonight, or have they got one more good game and then it's a tricky run?
Crystal Palace at home, and then Chelsea away, Man United away, Tottenham at home, Everton at home.
Yeah.
They do play through the blank, and potentially 40% chance maybe of getting a double in there too.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah. It's full time, guys. 6-2. McTominay with the Sky Sports man of the match, and probably with 3 bonus. He's on 65. Bruno is on 64. So yeah, I think McTominay will get it because he should get. I think it's a +3 in BPS for scoring the winning goal, and I'm pretty sure that comes on at the final whistle or later.
Oh no, I think winning goal is added live now. That's what I heard. Yeah. I've not confirmed by seeing it in action, but I believe it's added live.
It can't be added till 90 minutes though, because Leeds could have scored another goal and then the winning goal becomes the 3rd goal.
You just change it, the same as anything. If you get a yellow card, you drop your score, don't you? It's just a live metric. So to go back to what we were talking about a couple of hours ago now, I think Solskjaer is a very, very good manager.
I can't.
Always backed him.
I can't. I look forward to seeing where Ollie ends up at the end of the season. No doubt it will still be in a job. But yeah, United have to get top 4 for me or he's definitely gone. But yeah, it's going to be a tough one to get top 4. As we've said, there's teams like Leicester, like Chelsea, like Spurs who are going to be joining the likes of, you'd think, City and Liverpool. It's going to be tough. There's only space for 4. And it does always seem to be top 4, doesn't it? Which is silly because we talk a huge amount about top 4 and the clubs obviously want the Champions League football because of the money that's involved with it. But if you're going to go out in the group stages anyway to Leipzig, then,
Yeah, Leipzig are a strong outfit, to be fair.
I know they got to the semis or the semis last year, but are they a strong outfit, Seb?
They were top of the Bundesliga until Bayern beat them the other night with a 93rd. Whoa! Let's not get into the conversation. I think the Premier League. How many years was it we went without having anyone anywhere near the Champions League, and we still said our league was the best?
No, I agree with that.
To be fair, I think on that front, I don't know. Personally, I've never felt for a long time that our league is necessarily the best in terms of having the best teams. It's always been like the most competitive, or for a long time was, and probably to an extent still is, right? It seems like there is more competitivity, that's probably not a word, in the Premier League. I don't know. That could be an outdated opinion as well.
It's
definitely the most watched, which helps.
I think there's a very good PR job being done on the Premier League, and it's certainly up there. I'm not going to say that Portugal or anything is matching it. I think it changes, and I think it's hard to define when you say competitive, when you say best. We certainly have the strongest group of teams at the top. We have the biggest variance in who wins it by a mile. Italy, it's Juve and no one else. In Spain, it is one of two, and occasionally Atletico. In Germany, it is Bayern only. In France, it is PSG only, and maybe every now and again someone else if they're lucky. We certainly have the most competitiveness there. And every now and again, Stoke and friends will beat someone. But then you look in Germany, Stuttgart beat Dortmund 5-1 the other week, and it got their manager sacked. Yeah. If that's not competitiveness, and Stuttgart are doing terribly in Germany, I don't know what is. So I think there's many ways to judge it, and it possibly changes more often than we're able to nail down.
Yeah. Good stuff on that bombshell. Guys, I think we're probably done. Thank you for joining me for the last couple of hours. It's been great to chat in the half-time on chip strategy as well. We saw loads of goals. We picked the right fixture, 6-2. Loads of you in the chat with Bruno captain. Fair play. Did
we pick the right fixture, Gianni?
Don't know. I'm in a foul mood. So yeah, we'll be back again on, I don't know when. Probably not on Boxing Day, but in the not too distant. So thank you for joining us. And please do check out the Fancy Football Scout members area. Consider subscribing if you don't already. Follow us all on Twitter. And please like and comment on this video if you enjoyed it as well. Toby, thank you for your time today, mate.
Thank you, mate. Enjoyed it.
Good stuff. Seb, thank you.
Thank you, my man.
See you soon, guys. Take care.
Bye-bye.